stay away from that house.
Yes, but you tried.
I can still see her. She knew there was nothing I could do about it. He knew it.
Don't dig it up again, dear, please.
Why
Forget
didn't
it.
they go before it happened?
Please.
Why did she scream? Why did she cry?
We can shut it out of this house.
No, this isn't my house. There's no certain place for me on earth.
I should have burned that place down.
No. Let's search the ashes and find her screaming. Now you listen to me.
I'm listening.
You went into the woods
Well, why shouldn't I? They're
because
only...
I've asked you not to.
We didn't find anything.
Okay, now you listen to me. If there's anything you want, I'll get it for you. But there's one thing you gotta do for me. You stay out of those woods.
The building itself was a hydroelectric power plant. These are actually run 30 feet deep.
Okay, so you guys heard that, right? We try to reach out to the little girl. See if I can get her to come play with me. It was a very loud slam.
Spirit can I help you with today, guys? What will you have? I think he's dead.
Ladies and gentlemen, guys and gals, boys and girls, ghosts and ghouls, welcome to the Aftermath Podcast. I'm Scary Gary, and this is our Haunted Hydro episode. Joining me today, over here, we have Eerie Aaron. And next to her, we have Spooky Sammy.
What's up, guys?
And for the first time, over here,
My name
Juicy.
Jeff.
The
Juiciest of all Jeffs.
what's up, guys? So, we are now joining you after our investigation at the Haunted Hydro, and we're here to talk about that and show you guys some stuff that we found. If you watched it live, you might already seen some of the things that happened while we were there, and it was a lot. It was more than we expected. The evidence review didn't reveal a whole lot more, but we do have some cool stuff for y'all. So, how you guys been doing since the investigation?
Pretty good. Working.
All right.
Wish this COVID would go away.
Yeah, I've been here. I moved just before the hydro, so welcome to the new studio. This is the new studio. This is we're gonna name it Spectral Studios. So it's the official home of Division 3AM and Aftermath Podcast now. And hopefully, everything runs a lot smoother than it has in the past. So
Yeah, I
far,
hope so.
so good.
I know. Can you hear me? Because last time nobody could.
It sounds like we can.
It sounded like you could before, too.
That sounds good right now.
Hands on my mic. Shit.
You got the
Just
COVID.
shove it closer to her mouth.
Just put it closer to my face. Just...
Oh yeah, see, we heard that. As whispery as that was, we heard that.
What's up?
Okay, this is not paranormal.
We gotta stop that phrase. This is not paranormal. It's gonna be like a catchphrase for our show.
Just put up wish ads.
And
This
it's
is
all
not
thanks to Aaron.
paranormal. I mean,
It's all thanks to this is not paranormal. Talk about ghost sex and
I just know how it is.
so today
What's up, Josh?
today on the show we are drinking Elysian space dust.
we all have one.
We all have one. So
It's our beer of the podcast.
it's the beer of the podcast. It's going to be our thing. We're going to have a different beer every podcast. And at the end of the show, we'll talk about it. And we'll tell you if it was good or not.
So it's like paranormal.
Paranormal,
Paranormal and beer.
Which
So
the
bad.
reason for paranormal and beer is because that's what we do anyway.
You
So-
Netflix and chill, we paranormal and beer.
Spirits and elixirs.
Spirits and beers.
I like it.
Spirits and spirits. It's like
What's
like
up, Josh Cowell?
Spirits with
Hicks
spirits.
on Leone
Spirits
is
with
Jeff.
Spirits.
Talking about spirits while drinking spirits.
Spirits with spirits.
We're onto something, guys.
We're onto something.
Oh, shit, that sounds really connected.
I know,
We're
right?
gonna have a video for that next.
Oh,
Okay, all
do-
right.
we have a video for that next. It's called Jeff's Binge Hour. It's 45 minutes of Jeff sleeping with an empty beer bottle
Do
in
you
his hand.
understand why he sleeps so much now?
That
It's
is-
the elixirs.
Every time we hang out.
It's the nightcaps.
It's the night times. So, do we have anybody?
Is anybody with us yet?
Anybody with-
Is there anybody there?
Oh,
Oh my god,
yeah,
guys, did you
sweet.
hear that?
We've got people watching.
Oh,
I see a Josh Cowell, a Jeff Graham, an Ellison Schwan, and Jeff's sending me Red Rising quotes. So
Can you give me a
We're gonna be
sign
best
that
friends.
you're
Are you
there?
guys like gonna start dating? Because
we might.
I mean,
I mean, he could be my Mustang.
he's got a nice beard.
I might.
I mean, if you like to braid that shit, he might let you touch it if you put out.
I might usurp an empire for a man like that.
Oh man.
So, like I said, I moved this new stuff. It's going to evolve over time. I ordered a really cool poster for this
Say
wall.
no.
He said,
No. But it's not here yet, so the walls are going to be pretty plain for a
You
while.
can be my.
Everything's going to upgrade slowly, but right now, the show is actually running
You know?
very smooth.
He said, you can be my EO.
Oh,
You can be my EO. So I have to die. Wait. Never mind.
he's all about that.
I can't give away spoilers. There are people here who own the books who have not read them yet.
That's true. That's true. I haven't. She took the first one. I haven't started it yet.
I'm just reading it slowly, but like everything's been so hectic that I haven't been able to get on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, those out there watching, read Red Rising. Just read it. Join us. Join the Howlers. Alright, so,
Alright.
Aaron, what have you been up to?
I've been working a COVID unit. I'm a registered nurse in Toledo, Ohio. For those people who out there are in denial and they think this is a joke, it is not a joke. I have people dying on me almost every day. So it's rough, man. I'm ready for this to stop. So please stay home. This is not a joke. Please stay home. I don't want to do this all summer, and I want to have a fucking Halloween because that's my Christmas. So please stay your asses on the couch.
Stay the fuck
That's
home.
all I'm asking. But
We'll provide the content. You just
Honestly-
sit there and watch it.
yeah, honestly, you know, this little hydro investigation was a nice little break because I've just been have nonstop working, and it's very depressing. So it was a nice little break. And these guys have always been there to cheer me up, and they're my strongholds right now. So I'm just ready for this to be over,
Aw.
things to go back to normal. I need a good metal show, bang my head a little bit.
Fuck yes.
So, but
You just
other
come
than-
over and listen to my neighbor sing.
No,
That's
that
not a metal show.
ain't, that ain't
though.
heavy enough.
I'm like thinking we should do a mosh pit after this in the living room. So
With my cats?
I'm alright. I'm good with it. I'm good.
My
But
cats.
yeah, no, everything's been okay otherwise. Miss my family in New York. New York's getting hit hard right now, so I'm just really excited to go back and see them whenever this ends. I don't know. But
I like
And I'm
Josh's
going
comment.
to Ireland in September, so I'm hoping I can find some good haunted
That's a good-
spots.
Yeah, that's good, Josh.
You
That's
know,
good.
we can check some stuff out.
Josh said I should paint my walls green so we can be in different locations every show.
I gave him a green screen.
I
So
do have a green screen.
we're gonna try that out one of these days.
Yeah, we're gonna get that going at some point. I wrapped it out last night to see what could possibly be done with it, and currently without my green screen stands, nothing, because my walls are kind of covered right now, and there's nowhere for me to stick it.
That's
I have noticed the
what
show is like
she
definitely
said.
all
Oh.
sexual.
It-
So I hope
We're-
y'all
That's
like
what
that.
we're like
We
off
are
the
sex
show.
fucking-
Sex
We're not.
sells, right?
Sex
We're not
sells.
changing for the
Totally,
show.
like, all the
And
time.
speaking of sex sells, we got something special from that Hydro investigation.
Yeah.
It's gonna be one of our funniest EVPs, but we got a little story to go with that too from our review. But we're getting too far ahead of ourselves. Sam, what have you been doing?
I've been working, and then when I'm not working, my ass is planted firmly either in my gaming chair or on my couch
Or on
And-
your living room floor.
or on my living room floor. But we're not
Studying your tattoos.
Yeah, because I don't know why they just seem to move lately. Yeah, but things have been pretty hectic. I don't know. You guys know I work in retail. Unfortunately, I work at Lowe's, and it has been an absolute madhouse. People, I can't stress enough how much you guys need to stay home.
Stay the fuck home.
You can hate me for this if you want. Mulch is not essential. You are putting more work on Aaron by you guys going out and getting your mulch and stuff that you don't need. If you stay home, this stuff will be over before you know it. But you're dumb and you don't stay home.
It's not a
And
joke.
it puts a stress on me.
It's not a
and
conspiracy,
Aaron-
man.
Just imagine, when
So,
they reopen this 1st of May,
everybody's gonna start making out with
everyone's
each
gonna get
other,
sick again, and then Aaron's gonna be overloaded at the hospital again.
Exactly.
Yeah, think about
And then I'm
that.
gonna have
Yeah.
to do another investigation just to de-stress. So that's good for you guys.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
It's good for content.
I've watched people die all week. Let's go hunt some
Hail
ghosts,
to
please.
the no, to the no, no,
Please
no.
go hunt some ghosts.
That's my new song. Hail to the no, stay the fuck home, yeah.
Like it.
I'll lock it. Anybody?
Bravo!
Anybody a record producer out there? We need a contract.
We need a contract.
They're like,
Josh and
hail
Ben
to
broke
the
their Ouija
no.
board virginity last night.
Yep, they did. We did have a
Oh.
Ouija board session in my living room last night.
No, we got stories about this Ouija board on my wall here. We got stories about this place in particular, and we'll get to that later. Because, just like the first show, we are doing a show in a haunted location. It might not even be the location that's haunted,
What?
but I have had experiences here, and I've only been here 3 weeks. So, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. But what has Jeff been up to? Hey, Juicy.
This is it.
Juicy Jeff.
Juicy.
I am
I've been
also in
juicing
retail.
like
I'm a retail manager that works for Walmart, and I can tell you, from my personal experience, people aren't staying home at all because I'm busy all the time. But we're on 6 days. I'm working a lot. That's all. Just working and sleeping and trying not to
Working
work and sleep
And
and
sleeping.
do nothing else.
and
And
Yeah, working.
sleeping. So I got this video on Snapchat the other day from Sam. It's Jeff sleeping on the couch.
oh, that was classic.
And
I wish we had a.
He's
piece
holding
of
his
this.
phone while he's asleep, and his thumb's still going, like he's swiping.
That was the best thing.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even know. And then all of a sudden, he almost drops it, and he wakes up.
And he like just looks at Sam
And then he
smiles.
says, doesn't he
But-
say something like, "I need to go to bed."
Yeah, he does. I didn't catch that last
he
part.
he does this thing where he tries to deny. I think it's a guy thing. He'll try to deny that he's not sleeping.
Guilty.
When you're like,
Clearly sleeping.
you drop your phone, and then when you do a little sniffle because that's supposed to hide everything.
Guilty.
And then he goes, "I ain't sleeping." I said, "What was that?" I was just almost dropped my phone. I swear to God. So that's why I filmed him, and I have.
I
it
wish we
saved.
had a clip that we could just put into you viewers. Maybe
Man.
we'll add it next time.
Sam needs to save videos and send it to us. We'll have a
Yeah.
Sleepy Jeff session on
Do
here.
you have it?
I do have it.
Oh,
she
we're gonna
does
show you
have it.
guys.
Oh, shit.
Oh, this is
Oh,
great.
dear.
Oh, here,
Sorry,
hold
Jeff.
on, hold on.
I need another beer.
So, videos like this is what saves a nurse like me at work. It just saves my entire night.
Okay, so let me just bring this up.
Dude,
Turn it around for you guys.
look at him. He's just swiping away. It's like a little kitten having a little dream playing with. Oh,
I love the little smile at the end.
I need to go to bed.
That's the best thing ever. So, now you guys know the little sleepy time with Jeff.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
not...
We're not making it up.
No.
It is definitely full real.
We love it. We love it, though. We love him. And it's like his little booster. He gets all his knowledge and it just drains him. And then he comes back, he wakes up, and he just has more knowledge, and he just starts talking.
That's how he
Did you know in
researches history.
1905, a young boy, like he's like the prophet,
where did you
man.
come from? Like, were you just sleeping?
He's like
It's-
High Raven.
Okay, to clear this up, he's technically not sleeping. He's astral projecting to the location he's researching.
See, Gary gets it.
There we
Gary
go.
gets it.
There we go.
Because then these guys get amazed because I just pop up in the middle
He
of the
just wakes
conversation
up
with
like,
all this knowledge about what they're talking
"You gonna
about.
take-
How do you even do that?
Yeah,
You
how
can
do you-
sleep it.
He's like Bran from Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
If you guys
he just wakes
watch
up at a
Game of Thrones.
location. He's
I
like,
am
all
the
right,
three-eyed raven.
you're gonna go down the hall, take 2 lefts, 2 rights, go up the stairs. That's where it's at. And we're just like, how the fuck do you know that?
And then
I was there.
You go, hey Jeff, how do you know that? And all of a sudden you hear, because he had to go back.
I have to go back.
I gotta go back. I'll be right back.
It's working for me.
It's working out. It's working out.
It is. Okay, so let's move right on forward. What are we doing now?
Oh, we're gonna talk about that hydro.
Okay.
The
It's
hydro.
haunted.
So
It was very. When we first got there, I didn't really like feel anything. So I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
okay,
me
like,
neither.
this is gonna be like we're walking through, and I'm just like, I don't feel anything. Like nothing is like standing out, and it was just really like, it felt like I was like at home. If that makes sense. I don't know, but like the stuff that we caught, it's mostly audio. We don't really get much of the video. We do have to get better cameras, and I am working on that. And we're gonna have like a little. I want to have like a little meeting of just us when maybe the podcast's over, guys. We can talk about that because I have some ideas I was talking to Jeff about to get more cameras. That way, we don't have to carry around camcorders. Maybe get some tripods and stuff like that, so we can leave stuff in locations. This was our first official overnight investigation, so it went good for what it is, but
As Gary hits his head on his.
it doesn't pick up.
a bone. But yeah, just bear with us, and we'll go over. We'll show you what you need, and we'll show you what we got, and go. Quit hitting your head.
Only you can hear it. They can't hear that.
Oh.
It blocks it out.
Here,
Can you guys hear that? Dong.
It sounds like a boom.
So I don't know. Maybe Jeff can just say a quick little excerpt about like what the hydro is if some new viewers are here, and like what it was that we actually investigated. Can you just give like a quick little,
So
Oh, we're getting juicy.
we're doing
We're
like
getting
a
juicy.
history thing.
just like a quick little
Like
thing?
a quick little history.
Oh.
I think maybe if we have some new viewers right now,
Oh.
they can know exactly what we're investigating.
I wasn't prepared.
Was that okay?
I wasn't prepared. All right. So the location that we investigated is now called the Haunted Hydro. It was simply a hydroelectric power plant built in 1910. There were some issues in 1913 with a major flood across the nation, particularly in the Midwest, that was very damaging. It did damage some of that particular one, along with the dam that goes to it. But for the most part, it was in and out of operation all the way up until, like, I think it was 1959, if I remember correctly. And then it was storage, and then in 1989, Bob Turner bought the property and turned it into what is now the Haunted Hydro. That's been running for 30 years. So it's now a huge horror-themed attraction. Getting to go through there and tour that place, and if you guys watch the live feed, there's a lot of really cool stuff there, and we saw it pretty much as bare bones as it could be, because no one had really been in there but us. So it was really cool to get in there and see kind of behind the scenes on a lot of that stuff you don't get to see when you go to the actual attraction itself. But yeah, so that's a history of that place, a quick one anyways. If you want the full history, go watch one of our older podcasts. I have an entire history segment on it.
It's beautiful.
Thanks, Jeff. That was awesome. Thank you.
That was history time with Juicy Jeff. I actually have to change that intro now. Fuck.
Yeah, you
Because it's history time with Juicy Jeff.
Juice.
Okay, so we're going to talk about some of the evidence we found at the Hydro.
Yeah.
Now, we were talking about a little bit about how it felt going in there. Didn't feel a whole lot initially. I actually really didn't feel anything till much later on. And if you're watching live, if you heard that slam sound, that's about the time I started feeling shit. Because you'll see the video. You'll hear me say they're returning after this loud slam because I thought these guys were coming back in the building. They were outside. And when I opened the door and saw that the door to the outside was still closed, I was like, oh shit, that wasn't them. And I tinkled a little bit. So
I think that's right around the same time we heard the siren.
The siren was shortly
things were definitely
after.
starting to pick up around that hour.
Things were picking up at that point in time. It was pretty quiet, not a lot going on, and then all of a sudden, bam, like a rock to the face, which is an ironic saying. If you watch live, you know. That place was rocking.
If you
It was
haven't watched
rocking.
the live feed, you guys should go to our Facebook page and check them out. They are on there still. You can go back and watch them. Especially
Yes.
the very last one is where we got a whole just cavalcade of tons of intense energy and all kinds of evidence. It was cool.
And that's the cool thing. Like, anything we show you guys here, for the most part, was also on the live. So
just raw footage.
you can go see it as it happened, and you can see we didn't doctor it. It was all live. It all happened. It's all real, like the Jedi. It must end. Erin doesn't get that reference, and she never will.
Sorry, guys, I haven't seen Star Wars.
Yeah, she hasn't seen Star Wars, but I'm still going to buy her kid Star Wars gifts for every birthday until he starts questioning.
Like,
Mommy?
That to me
What
is
is
like
that?
someone who's never eaten ranch. Like,
It's true.
That's to me
That's
like
true.
somebody who's never seen Game of Thrones.
Oh, shit. Oh.
bitch.
That was a Carol Baskins move if I ever heard one.
I bet you feed
But you
fucking
know
people
what?
to tigers.
I don't know. I think you could get through Game of Thrones a lot faster than Star Wars. What do you guys think?
No.
No.
No? I guess
Your argument isn't valid.
is there titties in Star Wars?
There is titties in Star Wars.
Actually,
Mine when I whip them out while watching Star
oh, Kylo Ren! Oh, I want to be raised so bad.
All right, so if you watch Game of Thrones, I will watch Star Wars.
Shake on it?
Yep.
Yep. You see this?
Oh.
See it? Yeah, okay.
Sam can't watch Game of Thrones with me though. She has to watch it on her own because
Yeah. He'll ruin
I've
it.
seen it all and read the books. I can't do it.
He'll
Yeah.
ruin it.
Man, if this actually happens,
This is what I'm gonna
This
do.
is on footage, and it's all because not that I want to see Star Wars, but because I so badly want her to see Game of Thrones.
Mhm.
So
Well,
I'm gonna add up all like the times, like the time frames of the Star Wars movies. I'm gonna add them all together, and that's how much time I'm gonna spend watching Game of Thrones. So if you watch like
An
7 or
equal
8
trade.
hours of Star Wars, I will watch 7 or 8 hours of Game of Thrones,
that's an equal.
and then
trade.
I will probably be addicted and have to watch the other million.
Yeah, you'll end up finishing it,
Yeah,
and then
you'll
you'll get to the
finish it.
final season. And you'll just
I
throw
can't wait
something.
for the Snapchats. Like, they fucking killed my favorite character again.
That's what I'm waiting for with Red Rising.
Everybody does.
Yeah, I know. I'm
That's
not gonna
why
get attached
I'm like,
to
guys,
anybody. So
Josh, we're disappointed in you too. Don't worry.
Who, me? Sam?
what did I
Hey.
say?
Oh, Josh, you gotta
You
do
gotta,
it.
you gotta watch it, Josh.
Yeah.
I mean, watch everything but the final season. Just wait for the book after that, and then you'll be okay. Because the book's gonna fix it. It's gonna fix
It's
it.
gonna fix it if it ever.
Well,
comes
there
out.
is another book that just came out too. It's like a prequel.
Mhm.
You guys
Called
read it?
Fire and Blood.
Yeah, you guys read it yet?
No,
No.
I bought it and then it got ruined
Yeah.
when my
It-
mom's basement flooded.
It pretty much proves that season 8 was
'Cause it
not
was
meant
there.
to be that way. They're already like, yeah, we're gonna fix that. So let's go into some evidence here. I'm drifting,
Just a little bit.
but we just got a good deal.
Just
you
a
know.
little evidence.
I'm with. Get that evidence. When you want that evidence, girl, come get it.
Make that evidence nice and juicy.
Like Juicy J.
Okay, So let's go into
horrible.
some evidence here. I don't want to jump right into the EVPs yet, because we got quite a few of those. I'm going to load those
Josh,
up.
we can make it a picture book for you. That's
We're way ahead. I wasn't supposed to start. I was just supposed to open it. You just heard a snippet of an EVP. That's like getting a sneak preview of an album. Anybody bought any albums lately? Because there are none coming out.
Yeah, totally about all the
That's not
albums.
true. In this moment, just release one.
I could plug.
Like, in this moment?
But I'm not.
Jeff, could you grab me one of my
I'll plug for
my
Jay.
Miller Lights?
Oh, just because you asked for a Miller Lite, I should say no. But
It's all I have.
But hey, sensuous.
sensuous.
I thought you were about to be
Sensuous.
like
You don't need another beer.
situated.
I was just saying it.
We're gonna wait for Jeff so we can play some of this evidence. Why does I feel like I'm stroking?
Why does everything have to be sexual?
Capture my voice. Actually, hold on.
I'm very sorry to any of
There
our
is like
viewers.
lack of sleep going on.
Yes,
so
I had 3 hours.
This is why this is happening. In case you guys didn't.
I don't know how to turn this on.
Oh, there
Oh,
it
there
is.
it is. Oh, there it is.
That's so disgusting. Oh, okay. We gotta get back.
Let me turn that off. That's a feature I accidentally found on our soundboard the other day, and I was literally doing exactly what I just did while sitting alone in my office going... Because it echoed. I was like, that sounds like water.
Sounds like
It's
some
really
That
called
sounds like
Division
something
3
other
a.m.
than
because we
water.
all wake up at 3 a.m. and go in
Yeah,
the fridge.
I stayed up until like
pickle.
until like noon, just working on this, and then I had to, like, literally, you guys don't even know this, but you guys came to my door right after I walked in because I had to drive all the way over by Meyer to get something and then come all the way back, and I'm like, I hope they're not waiting on me.
No, we were fashionably late.
Yeah,
like
we were
always.
fashionably late.
Luckily, I busted my ass, and this is just working this time for once. Oh yeah,
Dang.
Aaron came back. She was missed. Before we jump into this evidence, if you guys are wondering where the fuck is episode 2, why isn't it on the podcast streams? Why isn't it on the website? Why
'Cause it
hasn't the
sucked.
website been updated in a while? It was basically unfixable. I tried. The echoes were so bad. We'll blame that on another thing. COVID-19 took
So
from
I'm gonna
us.
say this. So if anybody saw that, and I know you guys did, and if anybody had the smarts to videotape it, keep it for about 10 years. When we're famous, you guys can sell that.
Oh no. The live version will always be on our Facebook. So if you do want to watch episode 2 and suffer with us, it will always be there. But we're not going to add it to
But it was just me that,
iTunes
it was
or
just
anything
me
like
that was
that.
suffering. Like those two were perfectly fine, and are just like talking.
Jeff
to
was
each
struggling.
That's not
too.
true. I 100% only
And
heard
I just want to
one.
clear up. I just want to clear up that it was Gary's fault.
It was.
No.
You had your mic running on 2 different things. You even said it,
Yeah, but
and it was making everything cut out because it was running.
there was
too
nothing
much.
else I could do about that.
I know, but
Hey.
but I'm just saying that's what
It
it was.
has. It had to be that way.
I want to look at some evidence.
had to be that way.
Let's get this back on track.
Let's get this back on.
Let's not fight, guys.
We're not fighting.
We're not fighting. We're constructively criticizing.
So I caught this
By
picture
punching faces.
in the mirror room
Punching anybody.
while they're punching faces. This is a picture caught in the mirror room of the Haunted Hydro.
Tell us what you guys think it is before we tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see it? Can you see it? You see it right there.
looking at it?
Would you look at
If
that?
you can't see it, I have a special tool that will help you see it. Just look at it for a moment.
It's Gary's special tool.
Gary's special tool. It's something special we're going to use later. It's Gary's magic red circle.
Sam.
You see that red circle up there? I'm going to show you guys where you should be looking. You're going to go down right about there. You see it? You see it now? There's a face there.
Apparently Sam is echoing bad.
Of course, because why can't Sam have perfect fucking audio?
Is anyone else hearing Sam echo, like, ridiculously?
Who's hearing the echo?
Robin Music.
Robin Music. Zach.
Shouldn't be.
That's a snazzy ass woman right there.
So snazzy.
And I hope you're feeling
Are
better.
you guys hearing that?
Aaron's out there blowing.
Aaron's out there blowing her nose. But anyway,
It
you
sounded
guys can
different
see
than
that
it
right
was,
there.
But it was her blowing her nose, I promise.
There is a face right there. Now, strangely enough, it kind of looks like my face. But the reason this is not my face is because I am wearing a headlamp at the time that this photo was taken. So, I'm grabbing the wrong file. But the headlamp was right here. That's me under that headlamp. This face is over here. I'm going to give you guys a little zoom in on that so you can see a little better.
A little zoomy zoom.
A zoomy zoom.
Go make that zoom, man.
It's a little more zoom. And let's expand my magic red circle. There's the face. Now, this isn't a mirror room. The whole room was surrounded by mirrors. Like a little mini maze that wasn't very hard to navigate. Just straight path, straight through. I was sitting in a corner at this time, off to the right-hand side of where this photo's taken, which is why my headlamp is off in that corner. This face here? Don't know what that is. But it definitely looks like a face, and it slightly resembles mine.
So is there anything that you guys want to say about this?
Anything?
Do you guys see it? Do you see what he's pointing at?
Nobody? Yeah, okay.
Nobody.
Well, there is a delay. But we're going to move on. Bye-bye, Magic Circle.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so we do have a video. Now, little preface. If you did watch the live stream, you might remember at the time we were in the tunnel, I said I had seen something, a figure, move down the hallway. After that, it happened so fast, I kind of chalked it up to it being my imagination. And what I had seen was a white human-shaped figure there for a second and gone, as if it ran off to the right side. So what you're going to see is this in this video. I'm actually slightly off to the left of the camera. So what the camera sees, what the camera captures, is a little more to the right. So I'm able to see more down that hallway than the camera is. And you'll hear me say, hey, hey, because I'm trying to get Jeff's attention to turn his light back on the hallway. Because I had seen something down there. Now, after chalking up to my imagination and seeing this video, I don't think it's my imagination any longer. And we saw something secondary, which is towards the end of the video, where if you look in the gap of the fence, you see
the picket fence is what
the
he's talking
picket
about.
fence.
Picket
Yes,
fence, yeah. There's two fences.
it's
Yeah,
off on the
there's two
right.
fences.
Look at the red and white picket fence.
It's off on the right, the wooden one. You'll see something after it peeks out from behind the pillar, as if it ran behind the fence and took off. Let's check that right here. We'll show this one first, and there is one that will circle what you should be looking for.
Is there anybody there?
Hey.
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 I didn't get a chance to review all footage with these
So
guys.
do you have any input on it?
Yeah, I think that's great. I actually want to see it one more time.
You want me to show it with the circle thing
yeah,
on it?
yeah, let's see that.
We have one with the circle thing. If you didn't see it, the very first one is pretty small. It's kind of hard to see.
Mm-hmm.
But it goes along with what I saw with my own eyes. Otherwise, I would have discounted that as something else. But
Was this right before everything started getting really intense?
Yeah.
it's right before
Okay.
things started happening. So it looks like this figure peeks out and just takes off running. So here is a version that will circle what you are looking for. I'm blind. I see green eyes. There was a raccoon in there, but he wasn't in the video.
Where do you see the green eyes at? Do you see it in the actual mirror, or are you seeing it? Where are you seeing them at?
I think when
Oh,
we
in
were
the
talking
mirror?
about the
Yeah,
mirror.
that's the
Mirror.
mirror room. That's
Mhm.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the
Right. Here's a circle version of the what I'm calling the pillar ghost.
Is there anybody there?
Hey.
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 like comes up over the top of that one side of the stockade fence and then goes
I didn't
down.
even see that part the first time you watched. I watched it.
Yeah, and I didn't see it when I actually presented the video at first. All I saw was the thing peeking behind the pillar.
What's interesting about that whole thing is because where it's at and where it's headed, like
There was
shortly
concrete.
after that, like there was like rocks being thrown and stuff. So I'm wondering if that was
Making
whatever we
its way to
saw
us?
was making its way over.
Right.
Like was coming over to
Yeah, it seemed to like peek out from around the corner and
It's
take
like,
off.
hey, what y'all doing? It's like, I'm coming over. I'm coming over.
Hey guys, I'm coming over. COVID-19.
And where that fence
eat your heart
was,
out.
there's no way just a normal person would be able to walk because there was that concrete.
Yeah.
And I know it has been brought up, like, is that a reflection or something from the flashlight? Well, this will be on our website later, so you can go review this if you want and check it all out for yourself. We'll put up the original video and the circle video. You can check it all out yourself. But if you look, when Jeff's lamp turns, I'm saying, hey, because I wanted him to turn the lamp back towards that hallway. When he turns it, his lamp stops. His headlamp stops. But the figure behind the fence starts moving at the moment his lamp stops.
It's
And it also moves faster than Jeff turns his head.
It's also going the opposite direction of the way I was turning the lamp.
Yes. So it's not a reflection. Otherwise, I would have completely discounted it. Initially, I thought the very first thing I saw was from the reflection of the lamp. But seeing the thing on the other side of the fence, that changed my mind completely because that is moving completely opposite of what's happening with our flashlights.
Mm-hmm.
So that is physical evidence we did not actually notice the night of our review. This was all found quite recently, just before we did the show. Now, you might remember this if you watched it live. This little video is just a clip from when something slammed in the building when I was in there by myself. And then shortly after, you'll hear this buzzer sound, like kind of like a police car does, or an ambulance. And there was an ambulance on the property. And later, you will hear an alternate EVP video, or not video, but audio, of that same buzzer from a completely different location, much further in the building. So it was loud enough that it didn't matter where any of our recorders were, they picked it up. And this is the moment I hear the slam and the moment I hear the buzzer. It is a very big vase, as we've already established. I have to go back. Oh, they're returning. Okay, so you guys heard that, right? I don't know what it sounded like on the live stream, but for me, it was a very loud slam. And what the fuck is that? My battery's gonna power off in 30 seconds. It's killing my feed. So that was the loud slam I heard.
Mm-hmm.
And you see me look pretty damn baffled and confused when I walk out to see that these guys weren't coming back in the building.
We were actually in the car
Yeah,
warming up.
All three of us were.
And when we heard that siren, we kind of looked up.
And
we're
it
like,
sounded kind of muffled to us.
Yeah.
But
we're
it
like,
sounds really clear on that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was very, it was very distant.
It was in the building with Gary.
And it was just that short little clip. It wasn't like a siren going by. It was just that one little clip and gone. And the location's pretty remote. There isn't anything that would have.
Yeah, there's not a lot around it.
There's
It's very,
a nun hospice.
Yeah, there's a nun hospice
And if a
across
cop
the
had
street.
been going up and down the river, maybe trying to find somebody, like we would have noticed them because we were outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were
We would've
outside.
seen- we would've
Honestly,
seen the cop flash his lights and hit the
I was
buzzer.
waiting for it.
And
at the
there was
moment that you hear me say, like, my battery's going to die, my battery was at 50% at that time. And then this buzzer happens and my battery drops to, like, your phone's powering off in 30 seconds. So I'm like, oh shit, it stole my power. At the moment that the feed died, I had walked outside expecting to see a cop questioning these guys why they were on the property. And when I walked outside and saw nothing, and it was silent, I was even more confused. Later on, there is an EVP that I picked up after I walked outside. So something was in there. Something was starting to brew, and this was before we even got to the tunnel.
Something's cooking.
Something was cooking. Something was cooking. And I gotta say, like, if you watched the live stream and you saw the whole rock fiasco, that's not the only place that happened either. Apparently, that was an event for the entire night, and we didn't even realize it until evidence review that was something consistent with the entire investigation.
Happened in multiple
Locations.
locations during multiple isolation sessions too.
It was like we were being followed through the building by something that liked to throw rocks. We're gonna name him Rocky. Remember Rocky?
Rocky Balthrower.
Remember Rocky from the Hydro?
Rocky
Don't
Bal-
be fooled by the rocks that I got, because I'm still Rocky from the Hydro. Alright, so we got one more photo here. This one's provided by Sam. And Sam, why don't you talk about this?
Well, this one was just for us. We were waiting for Bob to get there. We weren't sure exactly which side to go to. So Aaron had pulled up behind the fence, and we're just taking a picture of the front of it, trying to figure out where to go. I was looking at it, not thinking I caught very much, but Aaron had took a picture that was from a slightly different angle. But when you zoom in right above the fence, right underneath the sign, you'll see a little white orb. And then off to the right side, there'll be like a streak of light. And I thought I was chalking up the streak of light to the lamppost that's right there, but it's going like this, where the lamppost is straight up and down. So he's going to zoom in and show you what I'm talking about. If you guys think it's something else, just let us know. Say it in the feed, and we'll go over it.
Keep my magic red circle, because this is as far as it's zooming in.
Gary's magic red circle.
Magic
We need an intro for that.
Where the hell's my magic red circle?
Every time he uses it, just a little snippet. Gary's magic red circle.
It's really hard
And
to
it
see.
bounces on there.
Can't zoom into it.
Hold on. There we go. That's a red circle.
No, that's
really
not.
hard to see
That's
on
not the one. That you have the circle on is not what I was talking about. That is a reflection from one of the trailers that's behind the fence in the background. So that is actually not what I was talking
Where am I
about.
going? Guide me.
Up a little bit. It's hard. You might have to just slow this one out, because without it zooming in, you're not going to be able to tell.
Yeah,
what
I
it is.
can't zoom in
We'll
anymore.
post it on the page.
We'll
We'll
post it on the page. We'll put up there.
Yeah, just check that up there. I mean, I have this, but I can't zoom in on this software. I had to custom make the photo with the zoomed in section. So apparently, I was looking in the wrong spot this whole time.
You were.
Way to go, Gary. Way to go.
We'll post it on our website. I don't believe in orbs. I believe ghosts can be orbs. I just don't believe in orb photos. But that's a topic for another day. Alright, so I guess we can go into some of those EVPs.
Let's do it. EVPs. All the way.
Alright, I'm sorry for anybody's ears when this comes up, but we do have some Spirit Box session stuff. So it's going to be a little staticky, a little poppy. And we got this little list here of all the EVPs we got. We do have what I believe to be a really good one. It was captured by this blonde lady over here. Yeah, I think it's the best thing we captured outside of the whole rock thing, but
You're talking about the one during her isolation?
yeah, during her
Okay, I know what you're
isolation,
talking about.
it was probably
That's pretty good.
the best thing.
Like
Have you
for-
even heard it? Like
Yeah.
you reviewed it, so
I found it, yeah.
Yeah. So for these, we'll play it. You guys aren't really talking in the feed, but if you guys want to let us know what you hear before we tell you what we hear.
yeah, we'll try to play it without any preface. That way we're not preloading you guys on it. I had to load up the feed because I haven't actually kept that up. But all right, so this first one, I need to check mark everything off this list as I go through it, so I'm not going to play the same thing twice. I think in this one we're talking about we're going to be leaving. We're just going to leave. This is the Ghost Box session, and we seem to get a response about that. So,
Is this in the tunnel?
no, I don't think so. I think this is the great room.
Okay.
Alright, we're leaving. Stay.
Now I'm going to play that one more time. See if you can hear what that response was on the Ghost Box.
Alright, we're leaving. Stay.
Now you hear me reply to it. You hear me say stay. That's what I perceived it at the time. That's not what it said. So
We'll have to wait for you guys to actually hear it on the feed.
yeah, you
And
guys,
respond.
what did you guys hear on it?
You let us know.
Let us know. If nobody lets us know, we'll let you know. Because that's the whole point. We're going to tell you what we captured, what we thought about it. But if you didn't hear, if you're not going to type up in the chat, then we'll get a feel for how the stream's going to go, and we'll just tell you as we go. Now we're not waiting for guesses. We're not leaving dead air.
No pun intended with the dead air.
Ghost air.
Sounded like he said scared to me. That's what Josh Cowell says. Said it sounded like he said
Josh.
scared.
Anybody else?
Anybody else? What did you guys hear?
Anybody else have a guess?
Nothing? Okay. Alright, so what we hear is, as I say, we're going to be leaving. The Ghost Box responds. Well, that's good.
Yep.
I'll play that one more time for you so you can hear it with what we hear.
That's
Oh, why
good.
did I talk like Bob there for a second? You can hear it, but we hear. Oh, no. I don't think that's going to be part of the program. Was that the word he used?
No, that's not the word he used. He used format.
Format.
Word
Yeah.
of the day, format.
Format.
And Bob, if you're watching,
Allison
really,
Schwann
really
heard scared
appreciate
too. Yes, Bob.
you letting us come in and investigate and letting us stay as long as we did.
Yeah.
We do want to thank you, Bob.
We love you, Crazy Bob.
Love you.
And we will send you a copy of the files of the
We'll
stuff
send
that we
you
caught.
everything.
We're making you a tribute video too, but that'll come later.
It's called Golden Bob instead of Golden God. Here we go. Oh wait, that's the tribute video. I forgot about that.
That is the tribute.
There is a tribute video coming, actually, Bob. So that was not a joke. Get
That
ready.
was not a joke.
That was not a joke. Play it one more time. So what we hear is that's good.
Set up this Fremont.
Are you moving?
Alright, we're leaving.
Stay.
We had a couple people say they heard scared. Yeah, the word scared.
I could maybe hear.
I can kind of hear it scared.
I
I
could
can
probably
kind of hear it.
that.
I'm scared.
I still think he said that's good. Like he was mocking us a little bit. Like,
Yeah, it's
"You're
kinda
leaving?
quick."
Good. Get out of here.
Not good.
It's
not
kind of
good.
quick. Like all the letters are shoved together. Like that's
Mhm.
good. It's good.
That's not the best one we caught though. That's
No, we're
that's
gonna
minor compared to some of the other ones.
listen. We're gonna make you guys suffer through the lower quality ones first, and then we're gonna get to the really good quality ones. Okay? So just stick with us. We got some ghosts for you. We got some ghosts. This one is this is a response to what's being questioned in this EVP. Let's see if you can pick up what that response is.
Are you moving that mannequin in that room right there?
Yes.
All right. If I take some.
I respond to what I heard. Is that what you hear?
Are you asking us or are you asking?
I'm asking everybody. I don't care. Aaron, for the most part, like a lot of is going to be the first time she
Yeah.
hears
Why
something.
don't you replay
No,
it?
I remember that one. Yeah.
Replay that one.
Let's
Yeah,
replay
replay
it.
it.
Let's play it one more time.
Are you moving that mannequin in that room right there?
Yes.
All right. If I take some.
All right.
I know what I hear. I think I hear it.
Well,
Anybody got any input?
anybody, any input? We can give it a few seconds.
This is yeah or yes.
All right.
What?
Yeah, somebody heard yes.
I heard yes, and I heard yeah.
I heard yeah.
I heard where.
Oh, she heard where?
Oh.
Like it's a question.
Oh.
There's an upward inflation on the end of the word. If
Listen
you
again.
play it again,
Play it one more time.
and I
One more
could be
time.
wrong, but
She
this
could.
is just what I hear. I've been wrong before.
Yeah. Let's play that again.
Are you moving that mannequin in that room right there?
Yes.
All right. If I take some.
I kind of hear that too.
To be honest, now that you
Yeah.
say that,
Yeah.
I
So
do
it's
hear.
it's like
where.
a
I do hear the
question.
where.
Where?
Like,
What
he's like,
mannequin you talking about?
Because
I know where.
the only reason I think it's where is because I'm gonna do a Zach Bagans here and I'm gonna reach for it. But that place had a remarkable amount of mannequins in it. So, but for
Yes.
me to ask, what are you moving that mannequin over there, and for them to say, where? They're asking me which fucking mannequin, you dumbass. There's a million mannequins.
It is.
True
It was a
story.
haunted house after all.
There's a whole room dedicated
like
to
an
mannequins.
entertainment
There are
haunted
a
house.
lot of mannequins in there.
There's a lot of Halloween spookies all hidden up in the crevices of that place. So yeah, that's one. It's funny. It's one thing I've always disliked about certain paranormal shows that go to certain locations when they have dummies or mannequins sitting in there. Like, how the fuck do you investigate a place like that when you got a freaking mannequin sitting there in the dark? And here we were doing the exact same fucking thing I hate.
And Robin agreed with me.
But
so.
you know what? It worked out.
It did work out.
Just saying.
So now you know how those people go and investigate those places.
Actually, like, we'll talk about it later, but I watched a show before I went to sleep this morning that had captured the most fucking amazing ghost evidence I think I've ever seen. I think it's like Carson City. That's not Carson City. It's a city. It's like Monsoon City or something like that. Ghosts. And what they captured, like, you could tell just by how they were reacting by what they captured. That shit was not scripted. This dude was bouncing up and down in his chair. Look at this shit. Oh my god. And then the people watching are like, oh shit. They're all freaking out. I'm like, oh, that was great. Like, I watched it. I rewound that like 10 times. I'm like, That's the best ghost evidence I've ever seen. But we're talking about our evidence right now, which isn't as good as that. But we're trying.
We got some good stuff.
We got some good stuff. We're getting there.
Don't discount our stuff, Gary.
I'm not discounting our stuff. There is nothing 50% off today.
Good.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Except
It's full price or bust. All right.
except my clothes.
Oh god.
Oh.
Oh, we're not going there.
If you guys want to donate to put his clothes back on, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pitch some money in for that.
Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to
I'll
see
make the
that.
bowl.
I'm like the hunchback from 300. And we're going to go into that third EVP based off of that. Here we are. This is another one from the SB7 Ghost Box. And let's see what you guys
A
hear.
lot of our capture stuff is from the SB7.
Not all of it. I mean, you guys had
a lot of it.
You guys
I've
had a
seen
good
lot of
chunk.
it.
But and then we threw mine in there too. So we have a pretty robust selection. We're going to go into this one now. What do you hear?
Talking with us. Please stand next to that device. Touch that device. Just give us some sort of sign that you're here.
Now this one's pretty quick. It's a little light. And we will point out it's after I talk. It is a female voice. And they're saying something. We're going to play it one more time.
Gary does talk for a long time in this one.
I tend to do that.
Talking with us. Please stand next to that device. Touch that device. Just give us some sort of sign that you're here.
Tagging the recorder.
So what do you guys hear on that?
Let us know what you hear. And then we'll tell you what we hear.
That's what we do.
That's how we do this.
Yeah, that's what we do. What do you guys
That's
hear?
how it works.
What do you guys hear? We do have quite a few files to go through here, so we're not going to wait for you guys on all of them. I'm going to be here all night.
That's true.
Yeah.
So we're going to, we're just going to go straight
Josh has
through.
the gist of it, I think. Josh just commented.
Yeah, Josh got it.
He spelled it wrong, but he got the gist of it.
Yeah, where here? Yeah. That's like
Why do you gotta do that?
somebody accents on the
Why do
H.
you gotta poke fun at our followers?
Where here?
Just Josh.
I don't care who it
Where
is.
here? Hey,
You apologize.
Josh knows that I love him.
we're sorry, Josh, but we're here.
He knows that I love him.
Where are your vents at? in
Are
this
we doing
room?
all these files, or are we just
Bam,
kind of
right
picking and
behind you.
choosing?
That's
Why, you
why.
feeling some air?
Cold. On my back.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like all cold on my back.
okay
But,
then.
Welcome to the cold room.
but I think it's the air from the vent.
It is.
That's why I asked where
It
the
is.
vent is.
Are we doing all these files, or are we just picking and choosing?
All these.
Gary's launching.
Is there a lot more on the website?
There will be more on the website. We are not playing every single thing we captured because we captured quite a bit.
We would be here all night.
There's some stuff that is going to be more difficult to hear on this live stream. So
We'll put those ones on
our
the
website will be updated, and all of our files that we found at the Hydro will be added. All of our photos will be added. So you only seen 2 photos. There's quite a few more photos. So you guys will have the chance to listen to all of our captures and look at all of our photos. And maybe you'll come across something we didn't see.
And I'm hoping in the future, like I bought a Polaroid camera, and I'm hoping to use that more in the future. We bought a bunch of film for it. Unfortunately, it didn't work out very well at the Hydro because it was so cold. I don't think the film was able to develop properly. So there's a few things that you see in it, but I can't be 100% and actually show you that as evidence because of the fact that it was so cold that it could have affected the way they developed.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
So for Mifflin, I promise you I will do my best to make that.
It'll be mid-July,
Yes.
late
Make it
July,
good.
actually.
Should be pretty warm.
And we have like a good 120 things worth of film for Mifflin. So
And I do plan on getting some kind of like portfolio, that kind of like a hard case portfolio that like closes and zips. Maybe I'll use that for like a developing like thing. Like just put the picture in it so it's completely dark so it develops properly. so we don't have any problems with what we had at the hydro being too cold.
Yeah,
It's okay. You had to type fast, Josh. I forgive you.
we forgive you. Just type slower.
Don't worry, Josh. I'll punch him in the throat if you want me to.
Whoa.
He doesn't want
I have a permission slip from Dad.
He doesn't want you to.
Ooh.
Ooh.
All right, let's move back into these EVPs. We got quite a few
Speaking of bad.
EVPs to get to. EVPs. All right, this one. Now, we're asking if this person worked at the hydro.
Hi, Dad. Sorry, my dad's watching. Hi, Dad.
Hello, Father.
Hello.
I have yet to meet you, but it will come.
That day will come.
The day will come. Now, this one we asked if the spirit that we're speaking to is somebody who worked at the hydro. And we get a response.
This one's tagging the recorder.
Did you work here in this hydro? Yeah.
I'll give you that one more time before we state what we hear.
Tagging the recorder.
Did you work here in this hydro? Yeah.
So, what I personally heard was either I did or we did.
My dad's that damn straight.
That's what I heard too. That was well, in fact, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure I'm the one that tagged this one, and that's what I tagged it as.
Yeah, I heard we're here. Or we are.
Like I did. That's what
I heard I did or we did.
I did.
Do you need to hear it again, Sam?
I do.
All right.
Tagging the recorder.
Did you work here in this hydro?
Hearing that now too?
Doesn't this
We
one
did.
segue into the next one?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know if I have these in a specific order.
You should for that one. I'm pretty sure the very next question you ask also got a response.
Is it a
It's
yay or
name.
a name?
Yeah. If that one even got included in here, I don't know if it did.
I don't know if it did. Well, we're just gonna go down the list. We'll let you guys know. There's a lot of files.
And they'll all be on the website, so you guys.
They'll all be
Josh-
on the website.
Josh heard we did.
Josh heard it too.
Yep.
All right, so there's another one for you guys. Let's spin these up.
Can you see us standing here right now? Yes.
You can hear us respond to what we heard, which is common on investigation. We try to repeat what we heard to see if we all heard the same thing. And we got a response to that, which was yes. So, in case you didn't hear it, it's just a one word. I'll play it one more time for you.
Can you see us standing here right now? Yes.
That's a pretty simple one.
Mm-hmm. We all did hear the same thing. We all got together on that one. We
We heard that
all
in
heard the
person.
same thing in person. So
So let's go on to this next one. This next one, I don't think this is a spirit box.
This is a good one.
This is a good one. Listen
Yeah,
close,
absolutely.
guys. This is one of our good ones.
Close your eyes.
Very, very good one.
That's a
It's-
good one. That's one of our. I'm gonna say that's a class B. Well, actually, it's an A. It's got to be an A
It's gotta
because
be an
we
A,
all
'cause you
agree
can-
on
you can
what's
hear
being said.
Each syllable,
yeah,
like you,
you
can
hear
hear
each
it.
syllable. You can hear it like a whisper. You can clearly
So-
tell it didn't come through the spirit box. It was separate, but it was over top of it, and you hear every word. At least
So we'll
every
play it
syllable.
again for you, you guys. This is to classify it as a class A is like you can hear
Everyone,
syllables.
basically, it's everyone agrees on what is being heard is what qualifies a class A. There's no dispute about it.
Yeah. And it can't come through a spirit box. It has to be like an actual audible voice.
Right. It's clear. Like Sam was saying, like we got all the syllables there, the full sentence, and everything.
Cool. Close your eyes.
Whoa.
Whose recorder was that?
I don't remember. I think it was.
I think it was
I think
mine
it was
because
ours,
it was
yeah.
right next to the SB7 when I sat it down. Yeah,
I don't know if it was the Tascam or
Was
the
it?
other one. I believe it was.
Yeah, we had.
It was the other one because there was no. Yeah.
What's this
Yeah.
thing? Something the eyes are right here.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The eyes are. I think I would have tagged it as the
I
lights
think,
are right.
yeah,
here.
you guys tagged it as the lights are right here.
Let me hear it one more time.
One more time.
Close your eyes.
Right here or something. But
I'm hearing the lights are right here. I'm hearing what they tagged it as.
I can hear both.
Could have been
I
pretty
could hear
good.
both,
I
but
can hear both. But all I know is that one is right up into the recorder. Like
Yeah,
that one is
Right.
not one of us.
weird.
Unless
I don't know what
you-
recorder. It wasn't the
whispering into
Tascam.
it.
We had problems with the
It was my
Tascam.
Sony. It was my Sony.
yeah,
So-
it was the Sony. The Tascam had static all over the
Yeah,
place.
we've got a few of those on here. You'll hear what we mean when we say there was some interference with that.
What's funny about that is the Tascam had like weird interference the entire time, and it's got to be something with the Tascam. But then there were actual pockets of intense static that weren't caused by the Tascam itself.
Yeah, I also have a Sony recorder that experienced interference and static quite like your guys's, which has never happened on any of my investigations with that recorder in about 10 years. So to hear that and also hear your guys' recorder going through the same kind of interference was kind of weird. So something was going on with that. We attributed it to the REM pod. I don't think the REM pod puts enough energy to interfere with something like that. Unless you're sitting it right on the REM pod. I don't know.
I don't know that we did with any of them though. I don't know we put it that close.
I don't think so. It doesn't make much sense. There was a lot of interference. You'll hear that coming up. This is one. Aaron was in isolation at this point.
This is the good
This
one.
is a really.
This
good
is
one.
not the really good one.
Oh.
This one's good. Don't
It's not
misread
the-
that. We're gonna save that one
It's
for
not the
last. I want to
really
play the
good
best
one.
one for last. Like
I
the
don't
best
know,
one.
Has Aaron heard the really good one? Did we say
Yeah,
that?
yeah. She
Okay,
found
I
it.
just wanna make sure.
She found it.
I found this one too.
Yeah, she found this one too.
Yeah.
So Aaron's in isolation out in an open roofed area.
Right next to the tunnel room.
That's right.
Yep.
I forgot. I went through and
It's
pulled
right
the
next to the
files
tunnel.
after you tagged them all.
And this is a hydro. For some reason, you're gonna hear the sound of water here in an area where there was no water at the time. This is just a rocky little area. There's no water running through here, but you're gonna hear it, and you're gonna hear a voice along with it.
And do you have the part in there I had asked right before, like what this plant was used for?
Yes.
Okay, so they can kind of understand what the response is.
What was this plant used for? I know a little bit about the history of the grounds. I just want to hear what you have to say.
So you guys hear that?
Mm-hmm.
You hear the little beeps. That's from the REM pod. The REM pod was going off at that time. There is this sound of trickling water that seems to come through. It's pretty clear. It's almost as if like the recorder was like sitting right in front of whatever this water source was.
Mhm.
There's no water running. And then there's this woman's voice that trails with it. Like I don't know. Like, do you guys have an idea what she says?
Mm-mm.
I couldn't make it out either. Like I listened to it a few times. It's a sentence. It's a few words.
Mhm.
It's just interesting because the plant was used for water, and that
Yeah,
was their
yeah.
way of communicating.
So she's asking what the plant was used for. You get a water sound and a woman's voice, probably trying to tell us the answer to that question, but we can't make out what she's saying. I'll review it again more later. If we come up with something, we'll update that on the website as well. But we're gonna play that one more time for you guys because that's one of our better ones.
What was this plant used for? I know a little bit about the history of the grounds. I just want to hear what you have to say.
You know, listening to it the second time, she could have just broke up, like, stretched out the word water. Like, water.
Yeah, I can hear that. If you think about it that
And then
way,
immediately
again.
after that is when you start kind of hearing the trickle.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, I can definitely hear that. She might be saying water, just a little more drawn out, like a singing, like almost like a duh kind of.
Yeah, like
Water.
Duh.
Circle.
Stupid question.
Jeez.
I do like to piss them off.
She does. Aaron attracts them.
Aaron's the provoker without being the provoker.
Yeah.
I try to be nice.
Gary tries to provoke.
They're like,
Aaron
this bitch is
does
trying to
it
be nice.
just
Oh, fuck
accidentally.
no.
See, I don't even consider it provoking. We're there to get a response, but we're there to get evidence. We're gonna do anything we need to do to get that evidence. We're not there to make friends with these ghosts. We ain't coming back. Whoever lives there,
But
deal
you don't
with
know.
it.
Some places we
That's
might.
not always true.
And
some
some
could go back.
Some
we could.
places
we
we
could.
have to like take into consideration that 90% of the time I take one of these motherfuckers home and I have to deal with it. So if you're making them mad and sending them home with me, I'm going to throat punch you. And I'm going to bring them to your house.
Gotta have our pendants.
They don't work for me because I don't believe in it.
I don't believe in it either.
That's why I gave Erin mine. It's because I know she partially believes in it, and I don't believe in it, so I don't feel like it's going to protect me. And that's
I don't
my
believe
personal...
in it either. I
don't get affected, so I don't need one.
But you're like Reiki, like crystal goddess.
Goddess.
Gary's the Reiki
Oh,
crystal
dear.
goddess.
I just
he makes
myself
any
in
totem
protection.
work for him. It doesn't even matter if he believes in it or not.
Yeah, I just surround myself in the protection. I mean, to
we'll
be
just
Reiki,
keep it
you
in
have to believe that works. And this pendant was one of the things I had to learn for Reiki, and I'm like, I don't believe in that. And in the training, they're like, you don't have to. It just works. I'm like, okay.
Well,
I don't think that's how that works.
For some people,
if
some
you
people
call
it
to
probably
it,
works,
it
but me
works.
it does not.
Yeah, they're like, you don't have to believe in some big God, greater power to believe in protection of something. I'm like, okay. All right, makes sense. I'll go with that.
But then you could argue that any pendant could work as long as you believed that it worked.
I made this.
I'm gonna go give me
I
one of
made
those
this pendant out of a
50%
picture of a
gumball
penis I found
machines.
online,
Right. That's what I'm talking about.
and I put it in a locket, and it's my.
I believe in penis.
It's made of
Kroger gumball machine. You saved my fucking life.
It's made of tin and pewter.
25-cent
It
sticker
stains
out of
my
the vending
skin
machine.
green. All right, we got another one coming up here. We're skipping over that one because that's our best one. We're gonna do that one last, but
That's right.
we got
right.
we got
That's
another
right.
voice here. What we got?
Leave it to Aaron to get our best one.
I know,
I know,
right?
man.
The one who's like, I don't believe. Like, I'm skeptical. Get the best one and be like,
I honestly
got
think Jeff's more skeptical than Aaron is because
I'm pretty
Aaron's
sure I am.
more.
No, I've definitely witnessed stuff. So, but
I'm-
I still am skeptical to a lot.
I'm
of
quite
things.
quietly extremely skeptical compared to how I started. I started like, I believe in fucking everything, or this or that. This is an EVP. That's an EVP. I saw this. I saw that. To now, I'm like, I question everything.
But
all the
here is
time.
a side note. Yesterday, I'm gonna tell you a little story, little side bit. Yesterday, we were cleaning the house, and I'm upstairs doing my craft room, and he's in the bedroom, and he's cleaning. No, you're cleaning the bathroom. He's cleaning the bathroom. So he comes out. He looks downstairs. He doesn't think much of it. He goes back into the bedroom, and then he like backs out, and he looks back down the stairs, and he says, "Hey Sam, do you know? Have you ever seen a man in all black and a top hat?" I said, "No." He's like, he's new because he was at the bottom of the stairs. So Jeff did see his first full apparition yesterday
Oh.
at
He
the
was
bottom of the stairs while we were cleaning
Full
yesterday.
black outfit, and I know it was
We used
something
to have that though. Don't you remember?
because he literally blocked out the
The top hat
corner
guy.
at the bottom of
At
the thing.
Capistrano.
Yeah.
And,
He had that.
Okay.
It
Algonquin.
wasn't so much,
Yeah.
but it wasn't so much a
He's
top
with you
hat.
now,
Like, it
Jeff.
wasn't tall. It
No?
was just a black rimmed hat all the way around.
Taller hat?
No, the hat itself wasn't that tall. The
Mm.
hat itself was lower. It was just black rimmed all the way around.
So like a Fuller hat.
But yeah, but he had.
Well, the reason Aaron
but he had
asked is
all
because
black on.
Aaron and me share a spirit pretty much. He goes back and forth between us. Sometimes he looks different because I know we had the same dream about how his face is. But it's usually a guy in a tall black top hat. But
His name is Gabe.
I know what his name is.
I don't.
I don't.
I know
like to
he's.
say
They
his
don't.
name.
He's scary.
His name is Gabe, and he is scary as fuck. And I do not particularly like it when he comes around because just bad shit just seems to happen. But it blew my mind, and it solidified it for me when Erin came to me and she told me that she had a dream the exact same night that I had the exact same dream about exactly how this guy looked like. And we literally almost finished each other's sentences about how he looked. And
I remember that.
I'm pretty sure we picked it up from Erin's old house.
That place.
If
we go into if we have still have time to do the haunted objects, I have a little story.
Yeah, we need to get through these quick.
Yeah, let's get through this quick because
we
the
still
haunted
have another
objects
topic to go through.
we gotta.
So let's fly through
Moving
these.
right
We're not
along.
going to do many pauses in between. Let's go right into this one. Hi, Matt. So now, what we're hearing there is sounds like a woman talking. It's like kind of droning. I heard I am here.
I don't really hear anything.
I
I
can't
hear
make out the words.
no. Don't get me wrong. I hear the actual what we're listening for, but it sounds to me like a humming, kind of like a humming because she's right next to the tunnel room, and I just picture if someone's humming in there, it's gonna be amplified like that. It's gonna sound like that. So it
Yeah,
sounds
I can
like
see
a
that
humming.
too.
Josh, that's a story for another podcast. I think I've already, with some of the stuff that we've done recently, I'm almost thinking we do an entire podcast about some of the stuff that we've caught, and that would be included in that.
Yes, hold your horses there. Love you.
We've gotten enough over the last couple days alone to probably do an entire podcast. So,
And I'll show you guys that after the podcast.
yeah, we haven't shared that with these guys even yet. So
I'm actually going to start skipping some stuff so we can get through it quicker. Because there's 10 minutes of EVPs here, and I think we've turned that into like 30.
I don't know how you thought 10 minutes was just going to go like that with me. Because we're going to want to talk about it and talk in
We
between.
just get so off topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Here's another one.
Proof that you're still existing in this building. Did you just throw a rock?
First rock that I know we caught.
Yeah.
that was in my isolation session.
Yes,
in
Jeff was
the
alone
little
in the
kids' room.
building at the time.
In the little kids' room.
That was
And you hear
long
a rock.
before we even asked them to use rocks as a
Yeah, very
form
long
of
before.
communication.
I don't know exactly where that lines up with our base camp audio.
And before that one, if I remember correctly, in succession, there was a knock, and then the rock.
Yes,
was thrown
there was a
in my
knock
isolation
before
session.
that. That's one of the files we skipped.
I figured that's why I mentioned it.
Yep, there was a knock before that. And as usual, you can find it all on our website. There's another one right after that. Occurs after Jeff was outside in the car. None of us were in the building at that time.
Oh,
So that is another rock being thrown at a time none of us were even there.
all right.
This one you already saw the video for, but this kind of puts the recorder in what I think is the room that bang actually came from. So this bang happens. This is in the same room Jeff was isolated in, where you just heard the rock thrown. So it seems like activity was kind of spiked up in there just by Jeff being in there. It waited till he left to start making it a little louder. You'll hear me talking. It's the same audio you hear in the live stream, the same video. And just kind of talking about, thinking they were coming back in after the slam and everything. But you hear this other voice on top of me talking. It's kind of quick. But you'll hear the slam a lot more clear. It gives me a better idea of what it might have been. So you hear that slam a lot more clearer than it was in the video. Actually, it sounds... I don't know what that little door to the downstairs would have sounded like. I don't even remember if he opened it when he showed us.
He didn't open it.
To the
We never
basement?
did either.
Yeah.
Is that where you think it's coming from?
That's where the basement door is. We don't know what that sounds like, though. Because he didn't open it. He just told us there was something down there. But there also was that door, the wooden door with the latch that opened up to the river.
Window? Yeah.
And to me, that's what that sounded like. Like something hit that door, and because it was latched, it kind of like shook. So that's what that squeaking was. So I'll play that one more time, but that's kind of like, because it's in that room, it sounds a little more like that might be what that sound was, but I don't know what hit it. And what I hear the voice saying is saying, hit it harder.
Hit it harder.
Yeah. So you got that. I don't know what it was. It's a big building, so it's hard to really say. But that recorder seemed to be much closer to the source of the sound than the live stream camera.
So a little interesting note for that room and for that basement specifically that I found out after the fact. Because apparently I work with a woman who actually worked there for about 10 years. Apparently in the basement specifically, people get pushed a lot. And not like a little push, like you stumble, like pushed, like violently pushed. We never did go in the basement as a group. We honestly
didn't
kind of
even think
forgot
about
it.
Yeah.
But she said that's a big spot for activity, is that basement specifically. And that room specifically is where that basement hole is. So it was just kind of an interesting tidbit to add in, finding that out after the fact.
If they're pushing
Yeah.
and something's getting slammed open,
right?
Definitely.
So
And if we ever go back, I guess that's something we'll have to focus on. We'll have to,
Yeah.
Definitely.
go
We'll
back
definitely
down
do a nice. Hi, I'll do a nice session in the basement because I'm the one that always volunteers for that shit.
He's the Aaron of the Ghost Adventures crew.
Yeah.
They lock him in haunted places.
I'm the Aaron, except I volunteer. I don't get voluntold.
Voluntold.
I'm Zach Bagans, and Aaron's about to get fucked up.
Yeah,
it's like
it's a given. It's a good formula.
It's like Paranormal Jackass. Aaron, go jump off that building. That rocket in your butthole.
People get completely possessed in this building. Aaron, I'm gonna need you to do an isolation in there.
Yeah.
All right, following up. This file actually takes place after my phone dies. I think at the beginning of this one, you'll hear me say something just as I go outside, and everything after that, no one's in the building. Alright, so there's a little bit going on there, but what I hear is footsteps, banging, very low female tone at one point. It just seems like after I left the building, like they just started moving around.
It definitely sounds like a lot of shuffling, and you definitely hear a lot of footsteps and rocks moving during that time frame, for sure.
Yeah, and there's a bang on whatever that was. But at that time, that was the time I was already outside, and I was expecting to see a cop talking to these guys because of the buzzer sound. So the door was closed. That's what we captured. Now this next one, I believe this one is from our base camp recorder. This is another capture of that buzzer sound we picked up. I believe it's this one. this one. Okay. What you're hearing. Okay, so at this point in time, we are not on this side of the building. I actually think this is when they're in the car and I'm in the woods. It's like something's going through our stuff at base camp. Like you hear all this shuffling and stuff moving around, and the recorder is actually sitting on a bench right next to all of our equipment. There's quite a few files of that. I mean, I'll just play through them really quick. I'm not going to go through them all individually. Just play through them. I'll skip around. You're going to hear some sounds, just shuffling and stuff going through all of our equipment. I don't know what it was. There was a raccoon in the building, but we never noticed.
We did have snacks. So
we did have snacks.
We did have snacks.
It's possible it was the raccoon, but he had to have scaled the entire concrete building to get away from us, because when we finally saw the raccoon, he was like at the top of the structure.
Raccoons can climb like you would not believe.
But he didn't steal anything either.
And he didn't steal anything, and nothing was moved.
Oh,
Yeah,
they're
we
little
didn't see
thieves.
anything.
Maybe he like got in the donut bag, got
There's
a donut,
no way he
closed
didn't
the
eat that
donut
amazing
bag.
donut.
It wasn't like the crow at the
If he
campground.
had a taste of that donut, there would be none left.
It wasn't like
Yeah.
the crow at the campground that put a exact cheesy poof size hole in our bag and stole our cheesy poofs.
He did.
Okay, let's go through. These are just a few sounds of whatever's rustling through our stuff. There's a few bangs and stuff here too. Here we go. There. Let's stop right there real quick. We're gonna go back to that one. Okay, so that's the file I was looking for earlier. That is the buzzer we heard from a completely different location than we originally heard it in.
Ambulance.
It does.
What was on the property?
It does sound like an old
It
ambulance.
just sounds like an old one.
So
And normally, like, I work in healthcare. When you hear those going, there's usually sounds that happen after that.
Mm-hmm.
The sirens go. We would have saw some lights. There's a lot of open field. It was very dark. So we would have saw or heard more than what we heard.
Yeah.
right, there was
It was
just that sound.
Just one isolated, just noise.
Like
Just weird.
it was like an alert. I don't know. We don't know what it was. We don't know if it was paranormal. We don't know where it came from. But we heard it. It came from somewhere. We can't explain where it came from, and that's
It was
what we're.
audible in the building and outside the building.
Yeah.
Which is weird. So, moving on.
This one. This one's one of my favorites.
Me too.
This one needs a slight prefacing. It's prefacing.
So
Okay.
it's a
Well,
shitty beer.
we need
It's
to-
twisted off.
You know it's a shitty beer when it's twisted.
Like, here's some bottled water.
Here's
Hey.
some fucking bottled water.
I agree with you, Aaron.
I agree too. It's just special times. I don't really have a big choice.
But this one, this bad boy.
It's a fine Pilsner.
It's a
beer.
It's fine.
It's
fine.
fine.
It's fine. It's
Everything-
not great.
It's fine. Just
fine.
drop it.
That's
it's
what's
fine.
been getting me through life. I just say it's fine.
Thanks, Karen. It's fine.
Everything's fine.
It's
Damn
fine.
it, Karen.
Goddamn Carol
You ever
Baskin.
see the meme where it's like burning around the dog? He's like, "This is fine.
Yeah,
It's
everything's
fine. Everything's fine."
All right, this one. We can call this sexy time because apparently,
Mm.
if you listen closely in the background,
Like this, daddy.
there's some ghosts getting freaky.
What is
It's
that?
it is hard not to laugh because it sounds like, oh, let me be blunt here. It sounds like somebody's fucking while we're trying to investigate.
Yep.
And we did
Excuse
not
me,
hear that in
sirs.
person.
and women, can you please put your pants back on while we
We were all
conduct our
together.
investigation?
By the way, nobody was off fucking anywhere.
This is literally towards the beginning of us getting ready to investigate. We were all in the bar area at the entrance to the building. And you got this. Let's play it again one more time. And guys, zip your pants back up.
So do you guys hear the ghost freakies that's going on?
So,
Do you
The
hear
ghost
that?
fuckings.
so you want to know something really
ghost doozens?
funny when it comes to that? Is we were doing review here when we found that
Oh, God.
in our studio. And so I was messing with our Tascam recorder because I was trying to figure out if the static was just because of the place or if it was a static thing on the Tascam. And the first session that I did to try to catch it totally caught that here.
It caught the moaning here. So apparently there is a horny female succubus ghost.
It just follows Gary around and masturbates.
She just follows me around. It's like, oh, he's looking at evidence again. Oh, it gets me hot.
And when I recorded, like, I literally only did 30 seconds. It wasn't like I did a long
He did a
recording.
30-second sample and got a fucking moan.
It gives me hope. It gives me hope that afterlife we're still getting some.
We're still getting some.
Maybe that's why my life's so shitty, because I'm getting fucked all the time and I don't even know it. She's just keeping everybody away like, he's mine. Aaron, no.
Aaron, my father is watching.
My dad's probably watching too.
He is not just watching anymore.
And he's gone. Sorry, Dad. He just messaged me like, what the fuck is this shit? What is this fucking smut, Samantha?
Jesus has nothing to do with this.
If I
Your mother is watching with me.
If I ever didn't want to make somebody mad, it's her dad. Like, it's not even my dad, it's her dad. Her dad will throw you from a fucking bridge. And just be like,
You want to be buried in that hydro, boy?
I told you not to fuck with me.
My dad's a rough one, but he's a good one to have
He's
on your
like the
side.
softest teddy bear, but then you open him up and he's like,
I'm gonna fuck your world.
I'm a thick ass boy. I'm gonna fuck you.
We about to skip
When
a
this is
whole
all
bunch of
over,
them.
we'll be over for some dickle.
Jeff can't wait to get
Yes,
something
Diggle.
here.
I saw that.
Alright, let's
I
play
wanna
a
try
couple
what your
more.
sister had the other day. It was
And then we're going to go
ginseng
into our final one. We're going to
sour
skip
in
quite a
bottle.
few.
It's good.
Okay.
It's good.
So,
Let's
I don't remember
do
what this one is. Over here.
To the entrance. To the entrance.
Whisper is not what we're looking for, because that is Sam. You can hear her saying Aaron something. It's the voice that comes before Sam's whisper. It's a male voice. It's 2 words.
To the entrance.
Saying, don't go. One more time, now that we have that. By the way, that is a Harry from Harry and the Hendersons. That was my grandfather's. For most of my young life, he had that tied to the front of his pickup truck.
And now it's being fed beer, cradled in Aaron's loving arms.
Ever since I brought that into my room, it hasn't been cold in here anymore.
He's trying to keep it
From
warm
his
and
warm
toasty.
heart.
One more time, though. You hear that? Don't go.
To the entrance.
Are you? Oh, what's this guy? What's he doing here? Oh, fuck, it's a Sasquatch! It's gonna make me take a spooky dookie. He smells like spooky dookie. He smells like fucking shit. Where'd he go? He's hiding again. Oh, there's his fucking forehead. Look at them eyes. It's the eyes of a fucking murderer.
Why does it look like Wesley Willis?
Cut the mullet.
And if you don't know who Wesley Willis is, please
Yeah, please
enlighten
look him up.
yourself and go to YouTube.
One
And
time
you
I was
will
out in
not
the woods
be-
and I saw a Sasquatch. I told him to cut the mullet. Alright. We got another one of Aaron in isolation. Aaron gets a reply.
Who's here with me? What's your name?
In the background there, that moaning, droning voice. One more time for y'all.
Who's here with me? What's your name?
Drawn out me.
I hear something like it goes across a couple wavelengths, but it's there. I don't know what it says.
I don't even.
Is that the one? I know there's a ghost box session one you guys had that had not only a ghost box response, but also, oh, look at this guy watching us here. Also, it had a EVP response immediately after saying the exact same phrase. I think it's this one. I do think it's this one.
Terrible, Josh. Terrible.
Terrible, Josh.
Is your name Bert, the makeup artist?
What you hear there is a SB7 ghost box response followed by a Class A EVP response that is not coming from the ghost box.
That say the exact same thing.
They both say the same phrase. Now, what you're going to hear is a woman on the ghost box. I think it's a woman on the ghost box.
Yeah, I think it is a
Sounds
woman.
like it, yeah.
She says, yes, it is. And then you hear a man immediately after that is not coming from the ghost box say the same thing. Yes, it is.
Is your name Bert, the makeup artist? Kind of hear in between through the
almost like you hear it three times.
Like you hear it 3 times, like it's a guy
Yeah.
that says it, but he's kind of cut off by the static.
It's almost like
the woman says it, a guy says it, and then you hear the Class A.
yeah, it's almost like an energy buildup.
Yeah.
Because I personally I don't believe consistently a ghost box is going to give whatever spirit's using it its actual voice.
Mm-hmm.
They're just
compiling
whatever noise they can to make the words they're trying to say. So it could have been him saying, and it just came out as a female voice.
And then when he finally got his strength,
and you can hear the male voice that gets cut off, and then you get his full strength of him saying it himself.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool capture. We'll play it again.
And just go ahead.
One more time.
Is your name Bert, the makeup artist?
That's pretty damn cool.
good job, Sam.
And that yes, it is. That follows up. I know in a lot of them you hear us kind of speak out what we thought we heard the SB7 say. In that instance, none of us said a word.
Right, and we were all pretty silent at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
We have video to cross-check that.
I did, and I did cross-check that. I did.
It is not any of us.
Mm-mm.
We'll do one more before we get to our favorite one.
Our bread and butter one.
Our bread and butter.
Our bacon maker.
We're not going to play all the rock sounds. You can go back and watch our live streams, and you can go to our website in a couple days and listen to all of the stuff separately, including the stuff we did not play. But here's one more, and then we're going to go into what we believe is the best EVP of our investigation. Did you hear that? It sounded like a little scream. It's almost as if ghost poke. I imagined it as a ghost walking through the place, and there was just an open manhole, and they just fell down it. One more time. Hear a little ghost scream in the ghost box. And then you hear me say after that, was that a scream?
Slipped in the wrong hole.
That's kind of what
That
it
was
sounds
the
like.
ghost that was fucking right there. Yeah.
She's like, "Oh!"
Wrong hole. Wrong hole.
I apologize.
What kind of ghost you got in there, Bob? Huh?
We're all adults here. You know what I mean?
It is an adult show. We warned you the first time. We ain't gonna keep warning you every time. All right, guys. We're gonna go back right now. This is our final EVP before we jump into our topic. Ooh, into the drum roll here. I guess it is the drum roll. This is our favorite EVP, guys. Here you go. Guys, here there. Erin is in isolation at this time. She's all alone. We're all split up across the building.
Actually, Sam and I are completely outside. We went and investigated the forest during this time frame.
I'm in the mirror room at this time. Now, while I was in the mirror room, I did have the Phasma box going at one point. But what we're hearing here does not sound like the Phasma box to me. It almost sounds ethereal, like it's coming from some other place.
And I think I had asked, like, shortly before that, like, if there was anybody with me. Or
She does ask.
something along those lines.
She does ask. But you'll hear a woman say, "Who's there?" And what I hear after that is what sounds like a man. I don't know if it's sarcasm or what, but he says ghosts. So, one more time, a couple more times with this one, because I like it so much.
One the first time around, but I heard it.
Yeah, that's one thing I like about when we share our EVPs with each other. Because even though we only cut out a small section, because this is where we caught the EVP, sometimes someone else might hear something else you didn't hear there. I had my favorite EVP I ever captured happened that way. I only heard one thing, but somebody else I played it to was like, "Oh, I hear this right after that." And once I heard it, I was like, "Holy shit!" That was the Mansfield isolation in solitary confinement when I got the voice that goes murder, and then you got another voice that I didn't personally hear until somebody told me, but he goes, "I killed people." So
I
this
wish we
is
still
this
had our
reminds me of
evidence
that.
from when we were there. Like, we need to go back there. I feel like that was...
Mansfield?
Yeah.
I still have it. I have all the recordings.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, we need to
We
upload
just need to
that.
upload that stuff.
We need to get Mansfield
We
on
got
the
some good
website.
stuff from
I'll go through it.
Lockcell,
I think it's time we
directed
upload
at
our
you specifically, Aaron.
we upload our photos from Collingwood too, because I was trying to describe the pentagram under the stairs and like, "Hey, yeah, we got pictures of that. Go on the website." And they go look, and they're like, "I don't see any Collingwood on there." Oh yeah, we never did upload those because we were using those for promotions instead.
Yeah, so we gotta upload those.
Yeah, it's time. Those promotions are old and stale. We're gonna do some new photos soon, but we're gonna play it 2 more times so you guys can hear this EVP again. So the only thing I want to take away from that, we're done with the EVPs here. Is he talking about them, or is he talking about us? Maybe we're ghosts to them.
Right.
Because he
Like,
kind of
they
says
went-
it
they
as
were
a
like,
statement.
Who's there? Like, who are we?
Yeah.
It's like the
He's
movie
like,
The
"Oh,
Others.
They're ghosts.
Like, we're asking questions, and she's like, "Who's there?" Like, she heard a voice.
Like,
but
she's
didn't know where it came
investigating
from.
us.
Yeah.
She's investigating
And
us.
then he
Like,
was like, "It's ghosts."
what if that is our investigations, are us going in investigating these places? These people can't see or hear us, but they hear us talking all of a sudden. And they're like, "Who the fuck is that?"
So it's like if they
We're investigating them. They're investigating us.
They're like,
it's like the IRS.
We were just getting freaky. Who's there?
Excuse me, I'm trying to get my bone on.
Who's there? And then all of a sudden you just hear the, I'm almost there.
Please, Gary, never do that again in your life. Thank you very
Especially
much.
on a live podcast.
That's one good way to lose.
Sorry,
followers.
Sam's dad.
Sorry, Jeff's mom.
It's beer.
Sorry, Mom.
It's beer.
Sorry, everybody.
All right, so moving right along, we are past our EVPs. that was our experience at the Haunted Hydro. The Haunted Hydro was something that didn't seem like it was going to be much at first, and it just kind of evolved over the night. Like, we had more and more experiences, started making us question more, and it just turned into something we really didn't expect. This is like, I call this a creeper investigate. It just snuck up on us. And it wasn't until towards the end of that night, like within our last hour of being there, shit went off the hinges.
And if you guys haven't watched that live feed, I highly
Watch
recommend
it.
That was intense. I mean, you guys couldn't feel the cold that came when all this stuff started happening, but it went from being a little breezy because we were by the lake to just intense, like you were in some cellar, freezing. And right when that happened, rocks were flying, the REM pod was going off. I mean, it was just crazy. So it was all at once. It wasn't just this happened and then this happened and this happened. It all happened at once.
It was like immediate response to like things we were saying too. Like, we were telling them, throw a rock, and then a rock would get thrown.
Or like touch the REM pod and it went crazy.
And then we had the figure that appeared and darted off, and you know, it was all within that little time frame.
And just as quick as it came in, and as a rush, it went.
It was gone too.
It literally just flatlined.
And I would love to go back there like during the summertime if we're able to, like when it's warmer and we can actually
get closer to stuff like the river.
Because maybe it'll be a different time of the year. It's going to be different evidence that we catch. Like maybe different times have different effects on the buildings and the places in the land.
Right. Like, he even told us, like, before we went in, like, the building would settle because of the contraction of the cold versus the heat. So we might hear some sounds. And initially, before reviewing and getting that second recording, I thought, you know, maybe that's what that was, that big bang. Maybe that's what he was doing. No. That was something completely different. Like, some of the smaller bangs, I could attribute to maybe the concrete settling or the rebar expand, whatever it is that's causing these noises. The smaller bangs, maybe.
Yeah.
That big bang, no.
No,
I'm really interested. I'm really interested to see what he says based on our evidence, because he really didn't want to give us a whole lot of his history.
That's the best walkthrough I could have asked for. He didn't walk through and say, "This is what happened over here. People experienced this here. There's been spirits spotted here. We've caught this here." He didn't tell us any of that.
He was
just
like,
walked
investigate
us
on your own and let me know.
Right.
So I'm really interested to see what he says.
He did it right. Yeah. He didn't preface us, so we wouldn't
he didn't want to tell us his experiences because he just didn't want to put his images.
So we had no idea where to go usually.
Right.
Like,
So,
we didn't know what the hot spots were. It was up to us to find out.
And there's been lots of investigations done there too.
Yeah, he said they found some stuff.
And he really didn't tell us what they found, so that was nice too. He didn't put that in our heads or anything. He didn't tell us.
He got close a couple times. Like, he wanted, you could tell he wanted to tell us.
Like,
he was like, over here, well, I'll let you find that out for yourself.
And he said he had his own experiences, which I would love to find that out on a separate
you know,
occasion. I think
that we've been there,
maybe interview him and be like, hey, so you've owned this place for 30 years. You have to have some stuff. Because we were there for a few hours.
Yeah.
So I would like to have maybe a little post investigation with him and just be like, hey.
You mean just have him come on and talk? Or
just talk to him and be like, so,
totally
this is what we found, and
we'll get him on the Zoom.
Get him
this is what we found, and
well, now that you say that,
Skype
we should have
him
tried
in.
to do that for this podcast.
We totally should have.
Well, we didn't think that far ahead.
Tried to get him on a Skype, maybe
that would have turned into a 3-hour podcast if we would have did it for this.
I think just a quick maybe video chat phone call, like, hey, we want to thank you for everything, even though we have, and we kind of just want to know what you've experienced, and we can compare. And then here's our stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, once we send all this stuff to him, maybe look for that in the future. We might have a podcast where we have him kind of video chat in with us and just, hey, did you get a chance to review the evidence that we sent you, and what did you think?
Honestly, I would like to have our followers, our fans and stuff that are on our Facebook, maybe Skype them and have them tell us some of their stories that they have.
We'd love to hear your guys' stories.
Awesome.
Yeah. When we post those flyers that say, hey, tell us about, we're not going to discriminate against you. We're not going to tell you that we're crazy. And we're not going to tell you that you're just hallucinating or imagining it, because we've been in the same boat.
We're all mad here.
Yeah. We've all been through it. And some of the stuff that we've been through, you would probably think we're crazy for. So
You know what's really crazy is that phrase was never said in Alice in Wonderland.
What?
We're all mad here. That's a Mandela effect. Oh. Go ahead, go back and watch it. It was never said. Yet it's on T-shirts and everything.
Right.
It's crazy. We're all mad.
There's a lot of those out there.
Anyway, moving right along. Oh, my mommy tried to call me. We'll call her back later. Mom, you know I'm doing a show. You should be watching it. You've never watched it, Mom. She's never watched it.
Blasphemer.
Very naughty.
So we're going to talk about, when we put our flyer out now, this is going to be the last segment of our show. Haunted dolls and other objects.
Ooh.
Yeah, so this is a broad topic because there's a lot of shit to cover. I put the most popular in the flyer. You know, there's the boy crying. You guys know the history of that.
Yeah.
Anybody who hangs even a replica of that painting up in their house, it burns down.
Robert the doll, he was on there. Yeah.
And you got Annabelle, the real Annabelle, not that creepy looking.
Yeah, Annabelle was not a plastic tall doll.
No,
she was a Raggedy Ann doll.
Cloth Raggedy Ann.
She was. So, I know that I have a story. I know that Gary probably has a story.
I've got stories.
I have a story. I think we all have a story.
In fact,
you have a story about a haunted?
My story is tied to Sam's story.
Mine's not a doll, but I have some stories of haunted objects.
You guys might not have noticed, but you've actually been looking at a haunted doll this entire time. We're going to talk about her in a little bit here. So, I don't know what your story is. You kind of know some of my story already. So since we already know a little bit, we know, they don't know, of what I know. Let's hear Sam's story first.
What do you know?
What do you know? What do you buy?
Story time.
Story time. Hi.
Hello.
It's me again.
How
are you? Okay. So.
She's double fisting over here.
I got the doublers.
That's my girl.
Got the doublers.
My best friend.
That's my homie right there.
Bow.
Did you take a sip of the IPA?
I took a sip of that IPA though.
IPA sips.
Okay, so my story is, and I do have something to show you guys. So after, like, I tell you, get the fucking bottle out of my goddamn face. Sorry about my face, guys. I don't have any more makeup because, you know, coronavirus, and they're not shipping. Coronavirus! Fuck my face up.
I'm gonna sneak around these girls. I gotta head to the kitchen.
Oh.
He's gotta go to the kitchen.
Sam's gonna tell that story. I'm still listening. Don't
You
you
better
worry.
bring back chips and dip, or don't come back
I
at
do
all.
have some chips, and I got some French Red Hot. I got some salsa too.
Got some French.
You guys want some tacos? Fuck.
Okay, so
Just whips up like a 5-course meal.
my story starts about.
Damn, he's thick.
God,
He's a thick
hold
ass
on.
boy.
He a thick ass boy. So it was around this when me and Jeff first started our little thing that we have going on. If you didn't know, it's a thing.
She's working on it, Jeff. She's working on it.
What did he say? Just tell us the fucking story. Jeffrey Graham, Mr. Wolfie. Don't rush me. God. People are rushing me.
I take a big dump next door.
Oh my god. Okay, so we were actually oh, I love you. They're all leaving. I start talking and everybody leaves.
We're listening. We're right here.
Okay, so
I'm still here.
we went to Gatlinburg originally, and we made a whole agenda of things that we were going to go visit, things that were haunted in Gatlinburg, whatever. So one of the things that we were going to go investigate is there is a haunted cemetery up behind Gatlinburg. So we were going to go investigate that. We had gone down to the strip. We were getting ready to go up there. I, for some reason, had the urge that I just had to go to the bathroom. So I had to go pee. You really needed to know that. So instead of going the way we were going to go up through the alley, we went back and went to a restroom across the street. So we're coming back out, and then there's a whole group of people, like, right where we were about to go walk. Well, apparently, 2 black bears had come down from the mountains, and They were just walking the strip. So if we would have went up through to check out the haunted cemetery, we'd have probably been barefoot. And probably would have snuggled them and, you know. But then we were getting ready to leave, so we were getting ready to head back to Toledo. So we decided to stop off at a plantation. Wheatlands. Yes. Plantation. Wheatlands. God. So we stopped off at a Wheatlands plantation. Like, this place is a historical building. It's actually on the registry for historic buildings. There was actually, I would like to switch it to Jeff, but he didn't do any research for this place because he didn't know I was going to tell this story. Failure.
I'm sorry, I've worked every day.
Oh.
Forever.
Okay. So we just stop off and we're doing like a quick little investigation. Like, it's like a public place you can like go to and check out. You can't go inside of it because it's obviously owned by somebody. So off to the side of the plantation, they actually have a cemetery that is for the slaves that were owned by that plantation house. The ones that died. It's just an empty field. It's got like headstones that are just don't have any names on them. It's just off in the middle. It's really weird, and there's woods around it. So we did our investigation. We were able to actually open up the door to the basement because it wasn't latched. So down in the basement, there was a giant geostone sticking up out of the ground. So it's like a central point, and I don't know if you know about the stones, but they are conduits, and it makes it easier for them to speak because it gives off a certain kind of energy. So we put a EVP recorder down there. We're off doing our own thing. We didn't really catch very much audio or visual or pictures from that place, but we decided to go walk up in the woods part. And I just thought it was really weird. Like, I was drawn to a certain spot, and I go back and I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm looking, and all of a sudden, inside of a hollow of a tree, random place in the someone had to like reach up to put this inside this tree. Yes, I ended up taking it and I brought it home, and it's been sitting wrapped in the shirt that I put it in when I got it for 3 years now, because I wasn't about to bring it into Jeff's mom's house because I tried that and shit started going down. I started having really bad nightmares. So I took it, I put it back in Jeff's trunk, and that's where it's been ever since.
Until now. Oh, great.
So this is what I pulled out.
Oh, you have it with you?
I have it.
Mm-hmm.
Are you serious right
Bring
now?
it into my motherfucking haunted ass house. Come on, let's go. Let's go.
I'm
ready.
I'm
ready.
I didn't even get a disclaimer.
Aaron, we're gonna
so we can get some
say
lighter.
our little St. Michael prayer before you leave.
I was supposed to pray.
We gotta pray.
When I brought this,
No, Jesus, there's a haunted object.
when I brought this into Jeff's mom's house, it was in a box, and I wasn't actually sure that it was in the box. I thought I had left it in the trunk because I wasn't going to bring it into her house. So I started having really bad dreams of like just people getting killed and just blood all over the floor. It was just awful. Like, I saw this woman, and she was the one who was actually killing the people, and it was slaves that she was killing because they were all, they were slaves. Let's just say that. So I took it and I put this back in Jeff's mom or his trunk, and nothing in Jeff's mom's house has happened since related to this. The only reason I think it was related to this is because the period of time that people were dressed like, it was pretty relevant. So, who wants to see what I have? Is it show and tell? Aaron is petrified. Can we just
I'm ready. I have no idea. Like, I didn't know about this. This was not like told to us. She just comes up in here.
This may have been impromptu.
This is impromptu, but I'm for it.
This is the first time I've actually touched this thing.
Maybe
since
you
I
should.
picked it
Maybe you
up.
So after she shows you this, I can give you a little bit of history on the Wheatlands plantation, at least the parts that I remember from when we did our
She wants to
investigation.
take it back?
Because I did look it up.
I'm gonna need you to bring it all back.
Oh, we gonna make sure you're all right before you
We
leave,
will potentially have to
Aaron.
go to Gatlinburg this year, so we might
I'm
be
serious.
writing down
I'm
that area.
saging tonight.
Okay.
I don't know what this is, but I have a feeling it needs to go back.
Who wants to see it?
Who's ready to see
I'm
this?
picturing. I'm gonna tell you what I'm picturing?
What do you guys think it is?
I think it's like some type of weird looking voodoo type doll.
I'm expecting voodoo too.
Like
Wrong.
What do you think it is?
I know what it is.
It's not anything voodoo, and it's not like a voodoo doll. It's nothing like that.
We wouldn't
like
have
a
taken
root?
something like that because that's too much in terms
No,
of real
it's
ritualistic
just
stuff.
I
so
would've taken
strange
it.
where it was at, where it was
You didn't take the
placed,
one
and
before
how it was
orphanage?
put, that it had to be put
Where
there by
was that
someone
Gore
very...
orphanage?
So,
The
This
Blair
was
Witch
this,
shit?
this was
Yeah.
on the cemetery?
This was
I'm not that tall.
in the woods in the back of the property.
Okay.
So, kind of by the cemetery.
Placed in the
back,
tree?
Placed in the hollow of the tree. Like, someone had to really reach up there and put this in there. Like,
Okay.
you ready?
Mhm.
Okay.
The
Do
hell?
we see this?
What the fuck?
Okay. So this is a perfect bottom half of a... It looks like something that was supposed to be put in a garden. But the top half of it is completely busted off. The top half was nowhere around the tree, on the property, or anywhere. So this was put around... It was sit and like flowers underneath of it. And this thing was just kind of like put
I'm
up
getting like a horrible headache right now.
in the tree. So, this is what I have.
I suddenly
And-
really have to go to the bathroom. And it is not the beer.
So yeah, that's my story.
Gary's gonna be
I'm going to probably put him back in the trunk because I don't know how it's going to affect touching it.
Can I keep it for a little bit?
Honestly, I was thinking about putting it in here.
It could be a nice addition to the studio.
Yeah, we can put it back on the shelf with
But we have to get a consensus from everybody to be comfortable enough to leave it in here.
Should I leave this?
I'm talking about Aaron.
Oh,
I'm talking about Aaron.
hold on,
Let's
hold on,
see.
guys, hold on.
And dead air.
Sorry. I just got really. Hold on.
Yeah, that shit's like giving me a headache. I don't know.
You want me to put it back down here?
I got really. I'm really lightheaded.
So, this
And I could feel. I could feel my heart beating in my fucking ears. Like, these headphones. That was really weird. I just got a massive energy drain. Like, they can stay. I want to see what the fuck that thing's doing. Holy shit.
So I can give you a little bit of history on the property itself.
So turn the camera around, face the juicy.
Oh, I have to be on the camera for this.
Yeah, you
Let's
do.
get juicy.
Get
So,
that juicy.
From what I remember, because we looked it up while we were there.
I told you about it.
So the original plantation burnt down. It was actually a little ways down the road. They rebuilt it there, and then a lot of interesting things happened. Like Sam said, there was a graveyard very close by that had some simple headstones for the slaves that were part of that group, for that family, for that plantation. The part she did leave out, because I don't think she thought about it, was a little bit further down. If you went around this little alcove, there was a little mound, and that was supposedly the burial site of some Native Americans. There is the grave.
I left that out. Sorry.
There is a grave up near the actual plantation itself that's of some kind of army general or something along those lines. I can't remember exactly what it was now. He was a higher up military ranking guy, and in the house specifically, there's a bloodstain on the floor in the parlor that they could not get out, and it was caused by, if I remember correctly, I'd have to really go back and research it, but I'm almost positive that it was the son killed the father, and he bludgeoned him to death, and it caused a stain on the floor. And one of the paranormal things that they would say would happen there for people who were investigating it was that you'd see footprints, like bloody footprints through there. Even when they tried to get rid of the blood, it just kept coming back. Whatever they did could not get rid of the blood stain. So there's some murder history to that house. There's a lot of strife in that house. The fact that some Native Americans died on that property and were buried in a mass grave there, always a bad thing in terms of generating Paranormal Activity, but I don't know. It was cool. It was a cool property to investigate. I wish we could have got into the house. You could look through the windows, but you couldn't actually get into the house. We did get into the basement. We did set up a recorder in the basement. We did hear what we thought sounded like potentially a child crying in the basement. That was pretty much the only audio that we caught for the whole time. There's a road that goes by there, and the traffic from the road was pretty loud, so it drowned out a lot of stuff. But it was a cool property to investigate.
So I'm going to point out, like, Aaron pulled a book off my shelf back here, which is all paranormal related books. And the title of that book is Ghost Among Us. And she just opened to a random page that describes the effects of a haunting.
And the first thing I was drawn to was loss of energy.
Which is
exactly what just happened to Gary, which is very weird. I'm very strange like that. I love to just pick a random book up wherever I am and open it up and just point to something and just see what it says, see what it means. And so I just randomly did that.
Yeah, very random.
What did I miss?
So,
she picked up this book down here.
Okay.
While Jeff was talking.
Okay.
It's called Ghosts Among Us. And I had just, you know how I love to just randomly open up like a page.
Yeah.
And I had opened up the page, wherever it was, and randomly just put my finger in something. And the first thing it said was loss of energy, which is very strange because Gary, when you brought that thing around, really just felt like he just had a dream.
Then we had to pull out, I just had to show her. I found these at a flea market. But I have some Miss Cleo tarot cards. And they had never been opened. There was like 50 of them. I don't think that place has anymore. But yeah, I got some Miss Cleo tarot cards.
Call me now.
Call me now.
I loved Miss Cleo. I used to fucking watch her all the time.
Yeah, I used to watch Miss Cleo too.
So, Jeff, do you have a story of a haunted object or doll?
I do not.
He
That
does
mine
not.
was tied to hers. That's why I gave the history on the Wheatlands plantation.
What about you, Aaron? Do you have one?
So I have a story of a haunted picture. When I was a little girl, my dad and my grandma used to torment me with it. And then I have a story of a haunted apartment. So, which one would you guys prefer to hear?
Let's hear about the picture. We're talking objects.
Okay. So the haunted picture that I had, well, I don't really know if it was haunted, but I was like 12 and I don't even know where my family brought this picture home from, but it was of this little girl, cute, dark hair, little bow tie, and you could tell it was dated. You know, it had to have been from like the 30s or 40s. And I hated it. I don't know why, but it freaked me out. And my grandma would put it in the back like porch and she'd hang it up. And I just hated it. Like anytime I'd have to go out that back door, I would go fast. Like I didn't want it looking at me. I hated it. I don't know why. Because she was like the cutest little girl. And then they started moving it around just to fuck with me. Like, because they knew it tormented me. It'd just be in the bathroom or it'd be in the living room or wherever. I just hated it. I was like, why do I hate it so much though? Because she's cute, you know?
Yeah.
But then it started moving around. And they were like, we did not move that. Like, we felt bad because you would cry and you were like really tormented. And we're like, we stopped moving it. But it kept fucking moving. And it always ended up in the bathroom, which is weird. And I'm Carl, my brother, if you're out there and you're listening, I'm sorry, I'm going to blast you right now. But my brother, when he was little, when he would go to the bathroom, he would hate for anything to be looking at him, like pictures, statues. He'd have to turn it all around. So my grandma had this picture of like tigers in the bathroom, and he'd have to flip that around. And anything that had eyes on it when he was pooping.
Tigers?
Anything.
No, tiger, you know, watch me pee.
Anything that had eyes on it, he had to have it like turned around. I couldn't watch him poop. And the picture would always show up. And he's like, Aaron, why do you keep doing that? Like, you know, I hate this. And I was like, I didn't put it in there. Like, grandma did it. And so I like interrogated my dad and grandma about it. And they didn't legit not move it. So I don't ever know like what this girl was, where they found the picture, why they brought it in. It was just really weird. Like it was meant to come into the house. I don't know. It's very strange.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty interesting. You know, tigers that watch your brother pee.
Yeah.
The fact that it moved by itself, like.
And I was like, I thought they were kidding with me, but like I knew the seriousness of my mom and my dad and my grandma and stuff. Like they stopped moving it, which I was like, well, you guys were moving in the beginning. And they're like, well, yeah, just to mess with you. But then after,
was this in your grandma's house? Like,
yep.
This was in the haunted. Aaron's mom has a haunted house. Very haunted.
We'll investigate that sometime. Yeah,
that we will. I plan on going. I mean,
no. This picture was at a different grandma's.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't at that house.
Okay.
So you say you want to go to me, or you want to talk about your haunted apartment?
All right, we can do a quick little excerpt on that.
Let's do an excerpt on that.
So my last apartment, before I moved into a house, was on Algonquin Parkway. It was just a little duplex. When I moved in, nothing. It was fine. Honestly, I think I lived there for about 3 years. Never had any problems. And then I started having some nightmares, and some like, I don't know, sleep terrors. I was seeing things at night. It was very intense. And me and Sam started having like the same visions. And then there was times where I knew that I was not asleep. I knew for fucking sure I was not asleep.
I have an experience
that I was like witnessing these things. And it was only in one part of my house, never anywhere else. It was always right at the foot of my bed that walked out into the bathroom, like little hallway, never anywhere else. There was a part where like I was awake and it was crawling on top of my significant other, and I had to pinch him as hard as fuck to wake him up because it was crawling on him. And of course, by the time he woke up, it wasn't there. And he's like, you were sleeping. Like, no, I pinched myself several times to make sure that it was there. And then ended up talking to Sam. She witnessed the exact same thing. We finished each other's sentences before we could even, so I knew that shit was real. But the craziest part is after I moved, and I've been gone from there for about close to 5 years, I would have reoccurring dreams, sometimes every night, sometimes a couple of nights a week, of being back in that location. And like I'm back living there, like I forgot something and I needed to go back to get it. It was really weird because I never had any problems moving out. I packed months before I moved. So, I mean, it wasn't like I had to rush to get out of there or there was anything traumatic. But it was almost like the house was calling me back, like, oh, you forgot something, you need to go back. And I literally had dreams almost every night of this apartment for years. I think the last dream I had was probably about 6 months ago. Sometimes the dreams would be like I was back living there. Like, why would I be living there? Or I was living there, or I had to go back there and I forgot stuff and I had to hurry up and get it out. But it was just weird because it was like constantly drawing me back. And I've never had that before. Like for years, to have a recurring dream to go back to a location that you moved out of like 5 years ago. So it was very strange. And especially since I had that those visions while I was there. And ever since I moved to my new house, I haven't had anything like that. I haven't seen visions. I haven't had nightmares. I haven't had anything. So I would say that it's not a haunted object, but it's definitely a haunted location. I would love to go back there and see what they want, but I'm almost scared too because it's like, why do they want me back? They're trying really hard. I'm dreaming every fucking night, you know?
Yeah, that's really weird. Yeah.
And the weirdest part is me and Sam had the same vision.
For the record, I still see him.
Yeah. So
I will say
I feel like passed him off to Sam.
Erin was telling me at one point about the shadow figures that were appearing in her bedroom, and I had given her advice on how to get rid of them. And the night I had given her that advice, I was still living at my ex's place, and that night I had woken up in the middle of the night and I seen this figure standing at the end of the bed. The instant I opened my eyes, and I gasped.
Did he have a jaw?
It was just a black figure outline. Okay. So, yeah, it wasn't like detailed or anything. It was just standing at the end of the bed. And I gasped for air, terrified, and I could not inhale. I exhaled all my air. I sat up straight in the bed and I was pushing myself backwards, just trying to get away from it. And all that was behind me was a wall. And I'm just constantly pushing on the bed, just gasping for air. And my ex had woke up and she grabbed me and she's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm still just like trying to breathe. And I see this thing standing there. And then all of a sudden it was gone and I could breathe again. And I'm like, "There was something standing at the end of the bed." And she's like, "I didn't see anything." I'm like, "I seen it. It was standing there and it was just staring at me." And I knew I had this overwhelming feeling. It was like telling me, like, don't fucking help her. Like, don't you dare try to fucking help her get me out of there. Like, it came to fucking find me to tell me to fucking stay out of it. Like, and I've never had that experience. I could not breathe. Like, all the air.
And that's how I would wake up a lot.
Yeah, it
like
exasperated from me, and I could not
and I
inhale.
feel like that's what it was going to do to him. Like, it was crawling on him to take his breath or something. Like,
Yeah, I had when we were still living.
and it, like, even like me and her visioned it, and it didn't have a jaw, but it could, like, open its mouth to, like, it could open a mouth even though it didn't have a jaw.
Yeah, like it was like the jaw. He has long black hair, no jaw, but he can still open it. If that makes sense.
Like I don't know.
Like when he opens it, you hear breath come out. Like he's got something.
Like, he's gonna fucking suck the life out of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when we were still living at Jeff's mom's house, I was in bed, and Jeff was sleeping. I slept up against the wall. All of a sudden, like, I woke up, and I looked at the end of the bed, and in the corner of the fucking room was, on the end of the bed, like, the bed was here. He was sitting right here. A black, dark figure, and all I see is his hair move out of his face. His jaw wasn't there, and he just books it up me, and I fucking scream because your mom heard it because she said something, and ran up me. I woke up Jeff, and as soon as I woke Jeff up, he looks over, and I'm just terrified, and it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like crawling, like up me quick as hell. Like,
he never believed me either. It was like, it was fast when it happened. But so that's my experience.
Sam had bruises and that on her legs.
Mm-hmm. So I mean,
so whatever was there,
it's definitely affected a lot of us. A lot of us that were in close contact.
Definitely came looking for me because I was trying to help. Because
I was like, let's investigate that properly. But now I'm like, I don't know.
I'm a registered priest, so I have taken the. Yes, what? I am a registered priest.
What?
Isn't the word minister?
Minister.
Ministers and priests are different things.
Yes, I'm a registered minister in the Universal Life Church, which, if you guys didn't know, you can go do that, and it takes about 5 freaking seconds to fill out the form. They do a service in your name. They register you, and you legally can perform anything a minister or a priest would perform. You can do weddings. You can do all that stuff.
But don't you gotta pay for it downtown?
No, it's completely free.
I don't know if that's true. Just because my dad was telling me that he's a registered, he's ordained.
Yes,
and he says he has to get his official papers downtown.
You can get your official papers. You do have to pay for those official papers, but you are legally registered in a registry within your region as someone who can perform any acts.
So, Dad, my question is, can you please come on an investigation with us dressed like a priest? We can get this going.
I have a priest costume in my closet back there.
I don't want to know what you use that for.
I have hundreds of costumes in there. We used to have a YouTube. We made videos, okay?
We don't want to know what you used any of those for.
But I mainly did the registration so I could make real holy water and bless houses. That was my main purpose. And at the time I was working at a grocery store, I used to just bless all the freaking packages of water that came in. Just in case any demons decided to come in and buy some water. They go home and take a drink and they get a surprise. What's up, bitch? Shouldn't have been shopping at Meijer. Got a priest up in here blessing all the freaking spring water.
I want to help you, motherfucker.
I'm trying to help you, motherfucker. All right, so
accuser.
for the final segment here,
Accuser of the brethren.
we'll go into my story here.
You're gonna have to pick her up, just so you know.
We're not going to her yet.
Oh, then it's not the,
She's gonna stay
then
there.
it's-
She hasn't moved since I've been here for specific reason.
you know, she has parties.
I
in
do
here.
own a couple haunted objects, but before I even touch those haunted objects, I just want to tell one story of a haunted object, because my history of my connection to all this paranormal stuff
Haunted
comes...
dildos don't work.
I was like, this would be
Yeah, they
perfect.
just
I have a dildo,
moan.
like, on the screen.
They just moan. Moan. Can I? Yeah, that sounds pretty. All right.
Rasputin's right pissed right now.
Yeah, he's probably at home. He's like, I heard him. He was like, it's the sound I use to train cats.
He can't do it in my house anymore because Sheila doesn't like it.
Story.
You ain't trained this bitch.
I grew up into this paranormal stuff just from experiences with family, stories with family. And one of the stories that always stuck with me was my grandparents had bought this rocking chair. It was upholstered, so it wasn't just a solid wood rocking chair. And they bought it from like a secondhand shop. And I think this happened before I was even born. And I remember the story clearly. My grandpa used to tell me all kinds of stories, so that's what kind of got me interested into all this paranormal stuff, was my grandpa used to talk about it all the time. And they said they bought this rocking chair from like a secondhand shop, and they had it in the house, and at night they'd be in bed, and they'd hear this thing just rocking constantly. And they'd get up, and nothing would be going on. And they go back to bed, and you hear this rocking chair rocking. So finally, my grandfather thought maybe someone was trying to tell them that there was something hidden in the chair, like some money someone left behind or something, or some jewelry. So they took this damn thing apart. Like, they ripped it open and looked in it and didn't find anything. And they fixed it up as best they could, put it back together, continued to rock. Eventually, they just got rid of it. And they never had that sound in their house again. Now, many years later, after I was born, when I was well into my 20s, I moved into this place. And I used to hear stories that after my great-grandmother died, which, little side note, is she died right after I was born. I was the only grandchild she got to hold. A photo of me was buried with her. She literally died right after I was born. So I had never met her. I know the stories of her. I've seen pictures. But she held me at some point in time. And after she had died, apparently she had this rocking chair upstairs in her room where she stayed. And you would hear this rocking chair rocking upstairs all the time. Now, I heard the stories. I'd never experienced it growing up. I never heard it. By the time I was old enough to remember anything, this rocking chair no longer existed. I moved in after... my grandparents were still alive when I first moved there. And I lived upstairs where my grandmother used to live, my great-grandmother. And I always had this feeling when I stayed up there that there was someone in this corner. And I always felt like somebody was just there watching me. I never heard anything. I never seen anything. Until one Thanksgiving. The entire family was at the table, and we were eating dinner, and we're talking. And all of a sudden, we hear this rocking through the floor upstairs. And everybody at the table falls silent. And I'm like, I don't have anything like that upstairs. And my mom's, that's the sound we always talked about. That's the rocking chair. I didn't want to go back upstairs to my room that night. But we all clearly heard it. And it was kind of a silent meal after that. because we're all just quietly eating. Like, yeah, we all heard it, even the kids. Everyone was quiet. But I experienced finally, that rocking chair sound my grandparents had experienced all those years. Now into the haunted objects that are here with us. This right here is a 1950s Jack-in-the-Box that I had purchased from another paranormal investigator named Jason Betts Jr. I have a certificate somewhere of him stating that all the things that he claimed has happened with this box happened. All his reports are true. And I have owned this now for close to 10 years. My experiences with it are limited, very noteworthy. When I first got this in the mail, I opened it and I felt this electricity come over me, like all over my face. Not sexually. It did not come sexually.
It was a little bit sexual.
It felt like someone was poking me that was touching something electrified.
Ocular penetration.
Electrical penetration. So, I will point out, this Jack-in-the-Box does not work. The musical part does not work. He will not pop out of the box. But he's in there. It's a little clown. The family that originally purchased this from an estate sale. And they took it home, and the woman had noted that her kids suddenly started talking to someone who wasn't there. A little boy. A little boy's name.
Because he's not creepy or anything.
The child, or whatever's in here, would break things in the home. Vases, family heirlooms, and the kids would always blame it on the kid that was attached to this. Then the kids didn't say, like, oh, it's the kid in the Jack-in-the-Box. They would just say, oh, it was Jonathan. It was Jonathan that broke the vase. And she's like, who's Jonathan? And finally the kids eventually. It's a little boy that has the Jack-in-the-Box. So the mom took the Jack-in-the-Box away, put it in the garage, and often she would go out and the entire garage would be decimated. Things would just be strewn about, thrown everywhere. So they tried to throw it away. Now, I know this is classic trope for this kind of stuff, but the box kept coming back to the garage, no matter how many times they tried to throw it away. Finally, she found a paranormal investigator who took it off her hands. Now, this guy owned many haunted objects. And after bringing this into his house, he had a little niece that would stay over, who started having tea parties with someone named Jonathan. And she would often be found talking in her bedroom to someone named Jonathan. When I came into possession of this box, my kids were pretty young. I had my experience with the little electrical feeling and the smell of an electrical fire. It is believed that whoever owned this box died in an electrical fire. I can't verify that. But some of the experiences do tie to it. My kids would be in their room playing with their imaginary friend named Jonathan. I would hear them in there all the time. No, Jonathan, don't pull that out. My dad's going to get mad. Jonathan, we have to clean that up or my dad's going to get mad. Cereal boxes would be pulled out of the very top cupboard my kids could not reach and spewed all over my kitchen floor constantly. So Jonathan was put under a protection. I put crystals and prayer cards on top of him to the point things weren't happening. Until I rearranged my room and I had taken everything off, not even thinking about it, and sat this on my entertainment center. I had a friend over and I talked to him about it. Now, you might see there's this metal latch here. This is what's supposed to spring him out. It cannot go half on, half off. It can't be barely on. It's either all the way on or it's all the way off. My friend was sitting there and I was telling him this story. And all of a sudden, this thing opened on its own No one near it. And the clown popped out of the box. And my friend's like, what the fuck? I'm like, dude, that's never happened. So I closed it back up and I talked about it a little more. And what happened after that made my friend say, never have that in my presence again. This thing opened. And not only did the clown pop out, he popped out of the clothes that are on him, the little cloth clothes, shot out of the box, across the room, just a head on a spring, and landed on his chest while he was sitting on the couch. This guy, a big guy, it wasn't Josh Jeans. No. It was my friend Isaiah. This guy, let me give him a little example of how he reacted. It was more like he was watching TV and all of a sudden, get the fuck away from me! He was that terrified. So I'm gonna bring him out. He's still detached from the clothes ever since that, and he has not been opened since. You'll see little stickers on here. I tried to sell them on a garage sale. The moment I put him in my mom's garage sale, the sky got dark, and it started pouring down fucking rain and lightning. And my mom's like, you brought this thing to my damn garage sale, and it rained me out. So I still had the stickers on there. I was trying to sell them for $15, and it says, understand what you are buying first. And there was the note from the investigator under it. This thing brought more people to my mom's garage sale than anything she had there. People would see it online and show up just to look at this thing. And he has been quiet since. But this is the first time we're going to let him out of the box.
I say you let Jonathan come home with me. You can have that. Oh, he's so creepy.
Jen, are you watching?
This is Jonathan.
Jen.
He is still not attached to the clothes since the moment he launched out at my friend. And there is some sort of stain on the top of his skull. Almost looks like a burn, almost looks like blood. I don't know if this thing previously had hair or if it really did come out of an electrical fire, because something electrical looks like it would burn that way. It is not topical. It's not like something layered on top. It's actually grooved into the plastic. So you can actually scratch it and feel your nail across it. It's not going to come off. It's deep inside.
How about you leave Jonathan alone? How about you quit scratching?
This is how Jonathan looked.
He's trying to get deep inside Jonathan.
When he launched out at my friend. He just came out on this spring and landed on his chest. Jonathan has been trapped in this box ever since. I don't know what's going to happen now that he's been opened.
I'm going to just say, hey, Jonathan, you look like a penis.
Now, I will point out, you guys can't experience this here now, but they can. Smell. What does it smell like to you guys?
It kind of smells like baby powder.
Singed. Something singed.
I smell a little singe to it.
I smell singe.
I smell baby powder.
She smells baby powder. We smell singe. Now he's gonna go back on the bottom shelf here of the bookshelf back here because he can't jump out if he's on that bottom shelf because there's no space for him to go. He can open up, but he's gonna be fucking stuck. Good luck, Jonathan. So that's the first time I've opened him in about 10 years. I have kept him every place I go. I have kept him openly in the open, kept him included. He has done nothing since the day he proved my friend wrong when he openly said, I think it's bullshit, and right after launched out on his chest.
So what if I say it's bullshit?
I don't know. I guess we'll see. But our final item is our main item.
You're going to do this one pretty quick because it's going on a 3-hour podcast.
Yes, she is the last item. She's been sitting here this whole time. And I don't like holding her at all.
I'll hold her.
This is Clarabelle. Oh, I'm doing the game right here. This is Clarabelle. She was found at a flea market
No.
here in
Jeff's over there
Toledo.
just saying, no, Sam.
I'm
no.
holding it.
You bring enough shit home, you don't need to hold a haunted doll, damn it.
I'm holding it.
You don't know how
Now-
to tell them go away. You invite them in.
We found her at a flea market here in Toledo in a bassinet. And when I picked her up, I said, hey, it kind of looks like her eyes are supposed to open. They do now, or they don't. And well, she's going to do it again. She's going to do it twice. I said, well, apparently not. And after I said apparently not, her eyes open.
Maybe you shouldn't hit a haunted doll.
And she shouldn't be looking sideways. Who is she looking at? Because I can't tell.
She's looking at herself on the screen.
She's looking at Sam.
Now she's looking up at
she's
you.
looking
Because
that
she
way.
wants me to hold her.
The eyes have never been sideways, so this is a first.
She wants me to hold
Her eyes have changed since I purchased her. We had nightmares about her constantly after putting her back in the bassinet, basically asking us to come take her home. So we went back and bought her. And her eyes have changed. I don't know if you could see it, but they were a nice brown. Now they have this gold craculature. It's very yellow. Her face is even slimmed down since we got her. Like, this doll has actually transformed. She was a very pudgy looking doll. She has, and I don't like doing this because this is going to piss her off, but she has in her chest a voice box. That does not work. It is an old phonograph voice box. That's how old it is. So it's a little record that plays. It's very rusty. I don't know if you can see it on here, but this is the back of it, and in the grates of the voice box, there are rust spots coming through. I had taken all these clothes off of her and was going to take it apart and try to take the voice box out to get it to work. Quit fucking looking at me like that. But I've had some shit happen after I took all the clothes off. Things got pretty hectic in my house. I put everything back on and apologized because apparently it pissed her off. Now here Clarabelle is her name. Not any connection to Annabelle. It's just a name that popped in my head. And I ended up finding some history on a woman named Clarabelle Smith who lived in Canada. She got married to a man and moved to Detroit, Michigan. And they're a pretty wealthy Victorian family. And she owned this doll. I don't have it on me now because I don't know where I saved it, but I had found a picture of her with this doll. Ends up in Toledo, not very far from Detroit, and now I have it. And I start calling it Clarabelle after discovering shortly after I started calling this doll Clarabelle that a woman named Clarabelle owned the doll. Did not know that. That's crazy. She's been in storage for a year. In a cold, dark room, in a box. And ever since I moved here, the first few days she was not here. I did not have her yet. I did not move her here. And the day I finally moved her here, shit started happening. So I don't know if it's the place, and I don't know if it's her. Things have been thrown. The Ouija board on the back of the wall over here was thrown off the wall, across the room, and left behind the door. I've had all my books pulled off my bookshelf. I had a glass thrown in my bathroom sink and shattered while I was sleeping. I've had things appear on my kitchen floor multiple times just out of the blue after I tried to make amends with whatever was going on here. It's like leaving me gifts now. I've heard a female talking. I've caught a little girl talking. I've heard doors slamming. I've had knocks on my doors while I'm standing right in front of them. Open the door to find nothing there. I don't know if it's Clarabelle. I don't know if it's something that was here before. It just ties in very closely to Clarabelle being here, and this is making me very sick holding her right now because she's getting pissed.
Say I'd hold her, but you won't give her to me.
I'll give her to you.
Jeff just gets mad. Sorry.
pee my pants.
And now you're getting saged when you get home. Congratulations.
Yep, gonna get saged. There are pictures, I will add them to the website later, of what she looked like when I first bought her, and what she looked like close to a year after I bought her. You will definitely see that this thing went from a pudgy-faced doll with pretty dark eyes to a slender-faced doll with these gold crackletures appearing in her eyes. She's been sitting on my shelf since I got her here. I have not moved her out of this room because I knew we would be doing this show and she would be coming out on an appearance on this show. So to see if the reason that this room is constantly cold, my cats refuse to come in here unless multiple people are in here. They will sit at the door and cry. Yeah, she changes the temp in here pretty deeply.
She shut her eyes.
While sitting up, if she shuts her eyes, that's rare. They're supposed to be open when sitting up.
Open your eyes.
So I'm going to move her into another room tonight to see if it changes her activity, because all the activity is limited to this room and my bathroom, which is right next to this room. She took the drain out of my shower and threw it in this room. Are you picking up something? No. Okay. Thought she was picking up a voice for a second. That is Clarabelle. That is my haunted doll. It's probably the most haunted object I own. And she is finicky on what causes her to get active. For the most part, if you leave her alone, she doesn't do anything. But the moment you start messing with her, she's a little agitated. And that's why she has sat on my shelf until this show, because I did not want to agitate her more, because she's breaking my shit.
So what agitates her?
Just being handled. So, you know, exactly what Sam is doing.
I'm sorry, Jeff.
I'm just gonna take it on. We're gonna sage before
She's
everybody
a fire
leaves here today.
starter.
We're gonna sage, do the St. Michael pendant. Hopefully Clarabelle will just stay here. I don't want to sage this room though. I actually want to live in a haunted place. It keeps me from having to go anywhere to do investigations. That is my haunted story. Clarabelle's here with us. She will be here with us. You will always see her here on Aftermath because she's always going to be in the background once I move her back.
Can you open your eyes? Like, lay down, open your eyes. No.
No, she's not reacting. All right, guys. So this was a long show.
It's either a good thing or a bad thing.
Guess we'll find out, right?
This is a long show, so I do want you guys to know most shows won't be this long. When we present evidence and stuff, it's going to drag on a little longer because we're going to go into talking about all the evidence. We even had a lot more to show for this show, but we had to skip over it just for time's sake. It will be available on the website, so you can go check it out there.
Vision3am.com.
Vision3am.com.
You can also find us on Instagram.
Oh, hold on. We're gonna get there. All right, guys. So you can find us. You already know because you're probably already here. We are available on Facebook.com/Division3am. That is mostly run by Sam over here, holding our haunted doll. You can find us on Instagram.com/Division3am. That is mostly run by this blonde bosom here, Aaron, who's saving the world one life at a time. And you can find us on YouTube. We're going to have, we keep saying this, but we're definitely doing it soon. We're going to have some more stuff on YouTube. We're going to put some stuff together. We're going to actually try to plan this out real soon here while we still have open availability and time. We're going to get a video going up there. We're going to try to do something on YouTube, make it a little more interesting. It's not going to be sexual, like most things.
Who's got open availability?
Why are her eyes
No one's got open availability. They're literally closed right now. And finally, as
Maybe
usual.
She likes it and she's like sleeping.
So I'm just going to tell you right now, Gary, your haunted doll is no longer haunted because that spirit is now attached to Sam.
I'm sleeping forever because I'm with Sam. You can always find us at division3am.com. That is our website. That is where you will be able to find all the evidence we have presented to you today. It'll be a few days before that is up on there, but I will get it up for you. We have all our videos finally going up on there. We're going to have our video from Eloise Asylum and everything we've talked about today. There will be more EVPs on there than we presented, so you can go check all that out. And if you have any questions, you can reach right back and contact us at contact@division3am.com. If you have any questions about any of the stuff on our website, or if you have a haunted location you would like us to visit. So thank you for tuning in. Tonight, we drank Elysian Space Dust. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think of this beer?
Pretty good.
I thought it was pretty good.
I'm not a big fan of the IPAs. I'm not a big fan of the IPAs.
I'm not usually
I thought it went
either.
down smoother than most IPAs.
It really does. It doesn't have that bad of an aftertaste.
Yeah, it didn't hit me as hard as I expected.
Elysian's got a nice smooth flavor. It's also 8.2%. So
Yeah, it hit me halfway through. I was
It's
like,
8.2 fucking percent?
8.2%.
Holy shit, I did not know that. Maybe it wasn't you after all, Ghost.
B-Dubs does carry it on tap sometimes. So just FYI, when they reopen, you can sometimes get that on tap. It's a nice smooth beer.
Yeah, I liked it.
Give you a little view of that so you can know what you're looking for. Elysian Space Dust. It was pretty good. I have got to agree. It was pretty good. So everybody, thanks for tuning in tonight for this long show, our review from the Hydro, our talk of our haunted objects. I've really got to go to the bathroom. Thanks for joining us, guys
Stay
and
spooky.
gals, boys and girls, ghosts and ghouls. And just remember,
It's 3 a.m. somewhere.
3 a.m. somewhere.
it is 3 a.m. somewhere.